769-63. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Well, good morning, everybody. Great Wednesday, a little chillier than we've been expecting for the last few days. Great to be with you today. Phil Elson, along with Matt Jones, the C Unit, Christian Johnston producing. It's halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Morning, Matt. You had a late night. I think we all did if we stayed up. I would have liked to turn it off when Arkansas was down 11 in the last 5 minutes or so, but they did make it interesting. I just wish that last night's game wasn't so interesting.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, that was heartbreaker. I don't know what you say, man. It looked like they reverted back to bad habits. Really surprised that Chandler Lawson gets to start. It's like, why are we being so funny? Why are we being cute? Riddle me this, Batman. How come you can start but only play 4 minutes a game? It's like you can either start and play, like you can either play or it's like you're trying to outthink the room a little bit. So you have Chandler Lawson doing this starting thing where he's playing 4 minutes a half, then he doesn't play anymore. It's like, get out of here. What are you doing?
I've seen some other coaches do that before where they just throw somebody in there to start, and it's just like you're saying for like maybe 4 minutes a half. You're like, well, what's the exercise behind this?
It doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. I mean, you got a player go out there, then he you want to play, then it's like, well, the first dead ball under 16 minutes, I see Mitchell getting up. Well, I'm going to go sit down and I'll lather back up to the second half. I don't know. Just doesn't make any sense. Devo Davis, a big zero. Jeremiah Davenport, the worst game I've seen him play. Couldn't hit a shot, couldn't do anything. If you're going to get 0 points, Mekhi Mitchell, 0 points, Jeremiah Davenport, 3 points. They had more fouls than points, those three guys right there. And we're not good enough. We're not good enough for everybody. Everybody has to play well. We don't have the talent where it's like, oh, well, you can have an off game. And it was pretty. I mean, that was the nail in the coffin. That's it. Everybody. It looks like That's it. There's nothing else to say. It's on to baseball 100% from this point on.
Well, they still have to play the games that are in front of them, and right now you're playing on a Wednesday in the SEC tournament, and that might well be the last game you play this year.
And I wonder about the coaching staff. You know, how do you not sub in? You got Davenport who can't jump over a stack of papers. You know, it's like, and then you got him blocking out their biggest guy. Where's Mitchell at? Where's somebody at to how are y'all not communicating? You know, have you given up? It's just, how do you not call a timeout when you've missed 14 shots in a row and say, we got to fix something, we got to change something? You know, it's like it's kind of like everybody that was just like, ugh. No, I don't think anybody's in anymore. I think it's as far as all of them, they're done.
Well, the whole narrative of the season's turned around. Now they're playing well. Now it's now they're going to be a little bit of run. Hey, you'll have a great time in the NIT. All of that just comes crashing down with a home loss to
go to
team
class.
that hadn't won a road game.
Make sure y'all kids go to class.
Well, you've been saying that for a while. There's a lot that you can really dislike about yesterday's loss to the Vanderbilt Commodores. How about this? Most points they've scored in a game this year, Vanderbilt. That's
got outcoached. Stackhouse outcoached us. You know, I haven't seen that a lot. Changing it up with the zone defenses he did. I mean, he was messing it up after timeouts, messing it up after dead ball. I mean, changing it up, doing things, and we didn't have an answer. We just kept going through it. A little lollygaggish. I mean, we started well those first 9-10 minutes. And then it was almost like we were tired. We had no legs, no energy, no want to, no communication. It was, if you're a Razorback basketball player, how do you go to class today and hang your head high? I mean, that was ridiculous.
I mean, it's pretty succinct, Matt. It is pretty succinct. Fan base
Gross.
feels exactly the way you did, but I think they felt like that before the game even started. You see photos from the arena. The place was practically empty. You know, it's still reported as a sellout. 19,200 tickets sold. It didn't look like the place was even half full. So, maybe part of that's an 8 o'clock Tuesday game, but it's also that they've been terrible at home this year. And hey, I'll put a home loss to Vanderbilt by 3 up there with an 88-point loss at home to Auburn too. I mean, these are almost the same thing. Not a good Vanderbilt team, but they played well. They dominated in the paint. That's the thing that you don't quite get. You get a guy like Mitchell who's been playing I mean, even in Muss's words, he's been playing as one of the best centers in the entire SEC for these last 6-7 weeks. And yet he's only out there for 18 and a half minutes. I understand he didn't score. Maybe he wasn't all that interested in doing all that much offensively, but still the presence is something when you're not getting any sort of presence like that inside. So, you know what, Matt? It goes along with the kind of season that we've seen. The crazy thing is they'd lost the last 2 games to Vanderbilt too, with more talented teams that made a push at this point of the season. It's just you'd been playing Vanderbilt in January, so you're like, all right, well now there's a chance to try to, but January is usually when you've been playing your worst basketball over the last couple of years under Muss, and now it turns out that yes, January was bad and late February is bad too.
Vanderbilt did whatever they wanted. Their little guard kept getting to the paint. I mean, they had so many layups that were in the flow of the offense that were uncontested. We didn't stop ball again in transition, letting the primary ball handler come down, not even making a pass, and doing what he wanted. The bad foul, really bad foul by Brazil late in the game. The Vanderbilt was smarter and more disciplined. That's what I mean. You can't. I don't want dumb players. You got to be halfway smart. You got to have a little bit of an awareness. You're a third-year SEC guy. I mean, you've been in. You should know these things. It's the guy gets the ball and he's running back away from the hoop. There's 3 seconds on the shot clock, and you dive into him and give him and then we don't block out 3-point play. Game over.
Well, I mean the texts just come in. I mean, this is the thing. It's like it's late February, but this has kind of been the attitude about the team since the middle of January. And I mean, really, the alarm bells started going off after you get destroyed by Auburn at home. Maybe you shouldn't have won that game, but it shouldn't have been as bad as it was. And here it is. It's like almost 7 or 8 weeks later, and there's no improvement.
The more disciplined team won. The smarter team won.
Whatever happened for the last 3 weeks, playing hard, a game that maybe you should have won against Mississippi State, beating Georgia, going to Texas A&M, being the reason right now that A&M is on the outside looking in from the bubble, a nice impressive win over a really awful Missouri team. All of that stuff just sort of dissipates now. You can't lose at home to a team that hasn't won a road game. You'd have felt the same way if you lost to Missouri. You can't lose a game to a team that hasn't won in 2024. And Vanderbilt hadn't won a road game in all of 2024.
Well, and we had Alyssa on yesterday, and one of the things I asked her, or we brought up, was I don't want this team to fall in love with the three-pointer because all of a sudden we did well against Missouri.
And then over half the shots yesterday.
And then we fall in love with, that's not our game. And then, it comes back up because it's like a quarterback in the last series or last 2 series when the team goes defense, goes prevent defense, and the quarterback throws for 125 yards, but you're down 28 points. When you're hitting threes, you got to take it in context. Those last 3 or 4 threes we hit, that's just all. That's like the quarterback adding up to his stats in the prevent. But it's because that's what you got to do. We did not run our offense. We let Vanderbilt control the tempo for 90% of the game. It was gross to watch. It was really it was a bummer. It really was.
I listened to the first half. I watched the second half after baseball yesterday. And it was depressing. I mean, you could hear it in Chuck's voice, you could hear it in Zim's voice, and then as Vandy builds that big lead, like, my gosh, I mean, it's like we're not even trying here until it was too late. And man, I kind of wish that they would have just ended it at a 16-point deficit, because we could have all gotten just a tiny little more extra sleep. But baseball team wins by 20. I don't know what you want to
y'all picking on those people, man. Don't be picking on Grambling. They're not going to come back. Y'all do that to him, man. That's at least they got to go. They got to leave early, right?
They got to leave. I don't know, maybe 30 minutes early or so. Yeah, I mean, they got paid to come up. I don't even think they stayed in Fayetteville. They didn't get a hotel.
Smash and grab, huh?
Dude, they didn't get a hotel. They got their check. They showed up. They got their butts kicked, and they went back to Grambling. We're probably on the road somewhere because they don't even play a home game for the first month.
Another stop. That's right. Yeah, they're just collecting checks on the way.
And getting their butts kicked along. It's the same team that after Arkansas went to Arlington last year, came back, played Grambling, and needed like a comeback and beat Grambling 9-7. So 21-0 until the seventh inning run by Grambling. So, I mean, take what you will from that. They're in a single pitcher there that's going to ever, pitch at a higher level. None of them would be on SEC teams. Razorback pitchers look really good, so that was nice. But, it's really just, you would have gotten more from playing a scrimmage. Truthfully, you would have gotten more from playing yourself.
Do you think so we had week 2 this year when Arkansas couldn't run the ball at home, and then everybody was talking about hitting, so you kind of feel a little better. Like that's what you'd have liked to seen out of the football team week 2 last year, right? Have 250 yards rushing, the 21 points, because everybody's like, oh, can we hit? I don't know, the pitching's going to change. Lowered opponent couldn't run the ball. You saw what happened. So maybe that's a good sign for the Hogs. They started hitting.
I think so. Well, I'll tell you what. So this weekend, Murray State comes in. That's a team that's been bashing the ball. They're averaging, close to 9 runs a game. So the pitching staff will definitely get tested. Bats showed up yesterday, and they're going to have to show up this weekend too. Grant Hall coming up on halftime in just a moment. We have Clay Henry joining us for a couple of hours at 12 o'clock. Your calls and texts as well on the McClarty Daniel hotline as we kind of put basketball season to bed. We'll be right back.
5 seconds to go. Matt, right side. Three-pointer on the way. No good. Close with the dunk at the buzzer. It goes and Arkansas wins. It goes and Arkansas wins. Close with a 2-hand finish. Arkansas wins the ball game.
Listen to every Razorback basketball game right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Drive a third-row SUV that is style in motion with the 2023 Buick Enclave at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Right now, get $1,250 in total savings or 2.9% financing on a 23 Buick Enclave. The 23 Buick Enclave, designed for the road ahead and well-crafted for your refined taste. Test drive a new Buick Enclave and experience the new Buick at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Hey, I'm Hagen Smith. As an Arkansas pitcher, I know the importance of precision, skill, and keeping cool under pressure. That's why for your home, choosing the right team for heating and air is just as important. You want professionals who bring their best game. When it comes to staying comfortable, I rely on Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. They'll send pros to take care of your home, too. Sign up now for Pascal's Plan Protection membership before the summer heat for only $8.99 a month. Never pay for a tune-up again when they're included in your membership. Professional people, professional service. Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked. Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodies.
Remodeling your bathroom? Don't let your imagination be limited by out-of-the-box shower doors or tub enclosures. Arkansas Glass and Mirror is your local source for all things glass, including plexiglass, mirrors, and shower doors since 1964. Arkansas Glass and Mirror has more selections, better prices, and the experience to help you build the shower of your dreams. They also have the only showroom in the area to help you create those dreams. Professional installation and professional service. Only at Arkansas Glass and Mirror, 1316 South Z Road, Fort Smith, or online at arkansasglassandmirror.com.
Flu vaccines, both regular and high dose for seniors, are now available at Law's Drug Store in Fort Smith. Call 452-6116 to schedule your shot appointment. Usually there is no cost when covered by your insurance. Law's Drug has COVID vaccines, RSV vaccines for ages 60 plus. Pneumonia and tetanus shots are also available. Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drug Store, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
Husbands, sons, daughters, honor your wife or mother for Mother's Day at the inaugural Mystery at the Fort Legacy Ball, benefiting Heart to Heart Pregnancy and Family Care Center on May 11th at the U.S. Marshals Museum. Buy your tickets today for this 1940s mystery dinner, coupled with an exciting night of investigative entertainment and lively dancing with the band Who Shot JR. For more information, call 479-452-2260.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson for Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. I want to talk about their pizza today. The Goob Special with extra pepperoni and rib rub on top. The Parm Special with double mushroom and jalapenos. Don't forget about the bacon cheeseburger and everyone's favorite, the old trash can. Swing on by Papa's Pub and Pizzeria at 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith, or give them a call at 479-783-9941. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
And admit that the waters around you have grown, and accept it that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. If your time to you is worth saving, then you better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone, or the times they are a-changing. Some writers and critics who prophesize with your pen, and keep your eyes wide, the chance won't come again. And don't speak too soon, for the wheel's still in spin, and there's no telling who that it's naming.
Welcome back into Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Studios. Crabtree RV Center in Alma, where we make your dreams come true.
Oh, it's a good choice of song there by Matt Jones, who's our professional DJ here on Halftime. And let's bring on Grant Hall, who joins us each Wednesday here on Halftime. Appreciate that. Grant, when you hear that song, times are a-changing after watching basketball last night. Yeah, it kind of fits, doesn't it? Is Grant there?
Grant.
I hear a radio in the background.
OG Grant. Oh, there he is.
It's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, Grant, you got to turn the radio down there. We can hear all kinds of feedback coming in.
There we go.
It sounds like he might. Well, I had to put him on hold.
Oh.
Yeah, I got to make sure that we don't hear the everything coming back. Grant, you there?
All right, let me just turn that down. How's this? Is this better?
That's a heck of a lot better. That's perfect, actually. Thank you.
Somebody asked me before the game about Martin Terry, and then sure enough, Battle became the guy that scored the most points in 2 consecutive games since Martin Terry at Arkansas, who played for Lanny Van Eman back in the early 70s to mid-70s, somewhere in there. So that was interesting. But, I went home and watched the game again after watching it live, and Arkansas cut a 16-point deficit to 1, late in the game. But they did the craziest thing. I thought, Arkansas cut it to 3 with 48 seconds left, and then didn't really foul until Brazil went flying across the court to foul a guy with 4 seconds left on the shot clock, about 35 feet from the basket. Yeah, at that point, the guy didn't seem to realize, even though he was near Vanderbilt's bench, that. Yeah.
Hey, Grant. When Brazil fouled out right there, did you count 5 on them because they were saying 4? Now, who did we sub in right there? Did we put Davenport to go down there on the block, or was Davenport already in the game? Why didn't we sub in a big? I
don't know, because Matt, when you look right before the free throw, there's Ellis over there in the number 3 position, reminding Mark on the number 1 position on the other side to box
to
out.
Squeeze,
so,
yeah.
Right. He was doing that. And then they just now when you watch it again, it's egregious. Anytime you miss a free throw block out like that after the guy misses 2 free throws, especially happens once or twice a year to a good team. This one did hit the front of the rim. It bounced back quite a way. And it's interesting that Lubin, is that how you say, the Vanderbilt player who was interviewed, by the way, on television afterwards, and he talked about how his coach always says rebound with 2 hands. Well, he got this one with 1. And put it back in. The problem was he wasn't fouled.
He wasn't fouled. No, you're right.
No, and Eric mentioned that after the game. One of many situations in the game where guys weren't fouled, and it was called. But it was just so that point ended up making a difference, because instead of trying to hit a 3 at the end, you could have been trying to hit a 2. I mean, you never know how things are going to go after something happens. That could have changed things, but so anyway, and I thought that probably Vanderbilt would foul and not allow a 3-point attempt. But as they said afterwards, they were afraid of a 4-point play, and so they Martin got a pretty good shot.
Yeah, if you have to make that to tie it up, we'll take our chances at OT. I feel that play.
And the other interesting thing about the last few seconds, Arkansas put Pinion in for the first time in 4 or 5 games, I think. And so I'm thinking, well, he's a decoy because it's so obvious that he's a good 3-point shooter. But if you look, I'm looking, I ran it back, and with 1.7 left, Pinion's wide open in the corner. I mean, I think Mark had time to fire it to him to get a shot. But that's an awfully tough situation for a guy who hadn't played in 5 games. Just all of a sudden, you're going to hit the game-tying 3. And then Battle, I know that Stackhouse said they didn't want Battle to get the ball. I even think they could have. But, Mark did the right thing. You got to get a shot off there, and it just didn't go in.
It's funny, when you look at the last couple of seasons, the Vanderbilt losses were losses that eventually you look back and just kind of poo-poo them. You improved after that. You got past it. And it's a little different this year because of where the game falls on the schedule. Instead of the middle of January, the end of January, it's the end of February. But Grant, looking at the big picture here, we're talking about, the nitty gritty in this little game that was played last night. That was the nail in the coffin last night. That was it. You're not going to beat Kentucky, not going to beat Alabama. Even if you beat LSU, you're still playing the first day of Nashville. It's not a team that's going to be making a run in Nashville. That was the nail in the coffin. At least that's what it feels like.
Well, Arkansas's got a chance to, I guess, pull a Syracuse and win 5 games in the tournament. They've won 4. Georgia won 4. But when Arkansas won 4, they had Brandon Dean and Joe Johnson. Now, you could say this, what if Battle keeps scoring 30 a game? What if he keeps doing this into the tournament? Then you've really got a hot hand. But the problem is, try winning 5 games in 5 days with a short bench. Now, I saw Minifield shoot around after the game, and he looked pretty good. He didn't really look injured. Obviously hamstring, you can't really tell. But I think he's about ready to play. Obviously, Brazil is back fairly effective last night, despite the bad decision to foul there at the end. And then you've got Graham, who I'm assuming would probably come back at some point. So, no, I'm not going to sack the bats quite yet. I even think they might. I was thinking until last night that they might go play pretty well at Kentucky because of the extra rest. Now, if you watch Kentucky's game, here's Reed Shepherd going for 32, 5, and 7. I saw his dad play. His dad's career high was 27 points. Jeff Shepherd, and Reed didn't know that until they told him after the game. But he made this amazing about 16-foot floater off the wrong foot to win that game last night and intercepted the long pass to boot, and it reminded me of Bob. I'm old enough, guys, to remember watching Bob Cousy play for the Celtics, and he spent one entire summer working on wrong foot shots. And that's what Shepherd made last night. And then I was happy to hear Pat Bradley, he's from Massachusetts. He picked that up. He said it was a wrong foot shot by Shepherd. And Kentucky also has what's the guard's name? Didn't play last time against Arkansas.
Dillingham.
Yes, Dillingham. I think he scored 9 last night. And they're a lot better team than they were when they won by 6 here. You shouldn't probably expect a game Saturday, except that nothing makes any sense in this league. This league, last night, the 3 games, 6 points difference, all great games. The Georgia, LSU's won 3 straight by 1 point, right? Something like that. And by the way, we get to see them here, too, before it's over with.
Well, that's the wild thing here. It's like Arkansas was in this place these last 3 years where they've been the most successful team in the SEC. And now in a year where the SEC may get 7, 8 teams into the tournament, Arkansas probably going to miss out on the entire postseason. Everybody, Arkansas's been surpassed by at least right now, like 11 other schools, at least as the standings are concerned, but you won't have the chance to make a case about, where you are as far as postseason. I don't see an NIT bid at all. And if they were, like, nobody cares. No, I'm not even talking about the players, because if they got a game in front of them, I would hope they care.
Well, I mean,
watch the NIT.
If you can't beat Vanderbilt at home, how much are you going to draw? There were maybe 7,000 fans there last night, and you had what I thought was like negative symbiosis, and the fans started leaving with 12 minutes to go. It really was. I mean, if that had been a rocking house, as close as they got to the upset, they might have pulled it off. Maybe it would have affected officials a little bit more down the stretch. So and that's been the case for 2-3 games in a row. The fans have kind of checked out in that sense. So you're probably right, Phil, but I do think the team's still playing hard, and there's something to that.
Never question this team's effort. I have not one single time, Grant. Yeah, the team is playing hard. It's just a lack of talent, and the fans. I wrote down there was 2:04 left. The fans were doing the hog call. That was the first time I'd heard the fans do the hog call. And to your point, what is there to hog call about? When Vanderbilt comes in here and slaps you around like Will Smith does Chris Rock and makes you like it, who you hog calling?
Yeah, and you're right. I mean, the fans that did stay and the loyal ones, they did make noise at the end when they saw an opportunity there. Remarkably, there was that steal by Ellis and the 3-pointer by Battle, and all of a sudden, Vanderbilt had to make 2 free throws with 3.5 to go to make it more comfortable for them.
Grant, unfortunately, the women's team is in a position where, they've got 2 games left. They're 2 really tough games. Carolina at home tomorrow at Ole Miss. Ole Miss has won 4 straight. And if they don't find a way to get an upset somehow here, very well could be looking at playing the first day in Greenville. And I would not, if you were to take me back to November, if you would have asked me about one of the, what won't happen in the spring, the thing I would tell you wouldn't happen in the spring is that both men's and women's basketball would play the first day of the SEC tournament. And right now, it's starting to look like a reality.
Yeah, that's, and speaking of Vanderbilt, they beat Arkansas too on the women's side when you probably weren't expecting it. And I think Shea Ralph has done a tremendous job coaching. This is the first time that women's team has won 20 in 11 years. I didn't realize that. They used to be pretty good in women's basketball. It's been a long drought, and now I told Shea, I said that your pregame warm-up and the things you yell, that's the most impressive thing I've seen all year. They've kept a great attitude. Everything they do is for a purpose. And they just came in here and took the game away from Arkansas, which is, you've lost Talia Scott and you've lost these other players. It's been a tough finish for Mike. He did say they've got an NIT bid pretty much guaranteed. I think he told us that after the game for whatever that's worth.
Yeah, there's another tournament that the NCAA has created that it's called the WBIT. Then there's the NIT. So I think the NIT is more like the 3rd level. The WBIT would be the 2nd level. And he's right. I mean, they're going to be in either one of those. So there is something to be said about that. But will Talia be playing for them then? It's a serious family emergency. There's been no update, and whatever it is, I hope that her family is okay. But that's all the information we have.
I think the family's okay. Someone said last night they thought it was a back issue. Somebody had talked to the father, and she had that earlier this year. But whether that means she's coming back here or someone told me in December that Arkansas have a hard time keeping her because of NIL. Arkansas is not exactly at the forefront of NIL money in the SEC, as you may have noticed. And I know Eric, that's a concern for him. He thinks that this program can come right back if you're on a level playing field with other teams in the conference. So that's something to keep an eye on.
Grant, this is something I'll get into in the next hour. The executive director of Arkansas Edge tweeted yesterday, showing the recruiting rankings in football. Arkansas is 22nd and whatever the rankings were, and he said that they can be within the top 15 with proper NIL funding. And it's crowdsourcing at that point. You're asking your fans to essentially fund the NIL to pay the players. Now, I've always said in college sports, you don't have ownership. There's no owners. So no one's making the profit. The profit goes to salaries, yes, but it also goes back into the whole athletic department. But there's a double-edged sword with this when you're talking about a state that's as small as Arkansas, because if there aren't deep pockets owners, then who's paying the players? You know, you can have ownership in a small market that makes big investments and spends money for players, for free agents, for all of that kind of stuff. But you don't have that in college sports. So in this case, like the population of the fan base actually matters a lot with NIL, and that might not be a good thing for Arkansas at all.
Yeah, and if there are all these families in Northwest Arkansas, we could all recite them together in unison. But typically,
but we can't expect that that the Hunt family and the Waltons and all of them are going to fund this.
Yeah, and they have not been that involved traditionally in the past, as people might think they would or could be. There's one family I think that is more active that way, but there are things there. I don't know. I had a long talk with a guy a couple of weeks ago. It's fascinating. Not something we can talk about on radio in 2 minutes, but yeah, I mean that's a big factor in all this.
We'll leave it there, Grant. I appreciate your time as always. Thank you. Travel safe, and we'll revisit next week. Okay.
Okay. Thanks. See you guys.
Thank you, Grant.
Grant Hall with us every Wednesday on Halftime. Now, that is the thing. I think that I'm starting to coalesce around the idea of NIL. If we're going to sit around and wait for the billionaires to fund Arkansas athletics, I don't think they're all interested in doing that. And are there enough Razorback fans with disposable income who probably also give to the Razorback Foundation and buy season tickets and all of that, all the money that already spend on the Hogs? Is there more? Is there more in your pockets which are already stressed to fund NIL? That's what this is about now. 877-377-6963 is our McClarty Daniel hotline. We'll be right back.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline continues to be your number one source for all your basketball wagering needs, including pro and college hoops throughout the year. With up-to-the-minute odds, stats, and trends, you can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with in-game live betting, contests, and all the best player props. Experience the world's best wagering platform anytime from your desktop or mobile device. Head to BetOnline today to become
Navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues. Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook with
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963.
Be ready for emergencies with Slime Emergency Tire Sealant for only $5.99. Dirt and grime are nowhere to be found with Spray Away's Glass Cleaner for only $2.79 and Swiffer's Power Mop Starter Kit for only $27.99. Get these bargains of the month at Metters Lumber True Value.
The tires on your vehicle go round and round, but when they don't, go to Van Alma Tire. They have tires in their name. That's their specialty. Van Alma Tire is all about tires. They have all the name brands and private labels available for you and in stock. So when it comes to getting tires for your ride, it's worth the drive. And financing is available. Ask for details. Whatever your tire need, check out Van Alma Tires on Highway 64 between Van Buren and Alma. Ready to get you rolling on new tires at Van Alma Tire.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Wanna go for a ride?
Find halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Oh, we got a text from Diane in Jonesboro who talks about NIL. She says there's nothing left to give. She and her family, I'm assuming, contribute $5,000 per year to the Razorback Foundation. 4 football season tickets, 2 basketball, 2 baseball, 2 softball tickets per season. I mean, that's a lot of money to spend on 4 programs. And she says, I'm drained and frankly pissed that this is where we find ourselves. So in this case, I mean, and it's probably, look, she's not the only person that's going to feel like this. Already spending, I would assume, over $10,000, well over $10,000, and being asked to donate more and not know what you're getting for it. That's the other aspect of this. Like, for what you contribute to the foundation, it gives you the access to buy season tickets. You buy the tickets, well, you get the experience of the game. What do you get for NIL? You don't really know, right? You're paying a player in that case, I guess. Glenn in Tawnytown says anyone that contributes to NIL is really stupid. I've asked him why he feels that way. I'm waiting to hear a response. But this is where you find yourself. If you live in a state that's smaller, like Arkansas is, and the fan base is smaller because of that, and it's a smaller university compared to the rest in the SEC, well, there's just more resources elsewhere. Right now, there's going to be more resources at, I'm just looking at the list. Tennessee, Alabama, Auburn, Carolina, Kentucky, Florida, LSU, A&M, Georgia, and Mizzou, too, has Arkansas, I think, is in front of Arkansas as far as NIL is concerned. So it leaves you ahead of maybe Vanderbilt, Mississippi State. I mean, the situation at Ole Miss as far as money they're spending for football, so they must have some sort of deep pocket going on there.
Well, you gotta evaluate talent. There's still a lot of talent, high school talent, Division II talent, other talent you can go out there and get.
You're right. We're turning into Moneyball. I mean, the Arkansas Athletics has to turn into the Tampa Bay Rays or the Oakland A's. From the Moneyball days with Billy Beane. Yeah, you got to find value where you can find value, because you're not going to be able to outspend the other schools in the SEC. And it used to be, well, you got to spend more on coaches and on facilities and everything. And now there's the players, and it's, you kind of see, I think, where we fit into all of this right now. It takes a little while to get there, but that's where I've landed upon this. 877-377-6963 on any thoughts about that. No, Bruce, I'm not saying we're going to suck forever. I'm just kind of laying out where it looks to me like the playing field is right now. I'll complain about, like in professional sports, how small market teams are in that same position that Matt's saying. You just don't have the size of a fan base that, like the Pirates don't have the same size fan base as the Yankees. That's pretty easy. It goes along with TV markets, goes along with the amount of money that you'll get from your regional cable network or whomever airs the games. In this case, Arkansas is small market compared to the rest of the SEC teams.
Well, you got to find other ways. The number one thing you have to do if you got to go to Congress, what is it, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, whatever you got to do, you have to get your in-state kids. Nobody listens to me I don't know why anybody would ever listen to me, but we're bountiful in in-state talent, especially in basketball. You're talking about resources and money and funding. They're right here in our backyard. If you'll just go get them.
I mean, that would be value that you're talking about.
And the Missouri,
exactly what that is.
In the Missouri model, you're able to pay the kids when they're juniors in high school. That if you're able to get them, if they're going to an in-state school in your state. I mean, that's what I mean. There's ways to get it if you really want to.
Well, in that case, so you play upon the emotions of a kid from Arkansas. Hope, and probably they do have an emotional connection to Arkansas athletics. But even in that case, like Courtney Crutchfield chooses to go play at Missouri up north, even though he's a kid from Pine Bluff, and we have the example of a couple of. And it's not that they didn't recruit him. Now we know a couple of the other top football players in Arkansas high school last year that weren't recruited by Arkansas, and I know that turns into a real head-scratching situation when you're talking about these things, Matt, because there were two really talented quarterbacks that didn't recruit. They're going to go play somewhere else, Division I, one of them in the SEC. So, yeah. I mean, you always have to, quote-unquote, build a fence around Arkansas if you're going to be successful. Now, it feels like that fence might have to, what's sort of an analogy here? Put a little razor wire on it, maybe make it an electrical fence so the kids can't get out. You got to keep them here.
You got to make it a priority, and we haven't made it a priority. We think that a 3-star or 4-star, just because he's from Florida or California or wherever you want to say, is better, and it's not the case all the time. I mean, I think you get kids that they're 18, 19 years old. You taking away homesickness. They're in their backyard. You're getting guys that grow up. What do you hear with all these guys when they talk about? They're like, "Well, I grew up a fan of this team, where they were born and raised." It's like you don't have to. It's going to be good locker room guys. You don't have to worry about a lot of things. You're going to get a lot of play out of them. But to each their own. We can keep finishing 1-7 in conference and throwing out whatever this is on the hoop court, because it's been a bummer.
Yeah, and here's a text that I can't read the whole thing as I'm talking at this moment, but the first sentence does kind of hit with some truth. This texter says, NIL in its current form is stupid because it's all dependent on the fans paying the players. All right, now I agree with that. This is further example of, so when eventually, look, I don't know, do the collectives go away once you go to the employer-employee model? At that point, now you have set rules of contracts, amount of money that's paid. The university has a pool of money that goes specifically to player salaries. And at that point, are you still asking for NIL donations for, because now we're like, there's this wink, wink, nudge, nudge that it's not pay for play, even though that's exactly what it is. So, does it, I don't know. I just don't see NIL going away. Even in an employer-employee model, like you're not going to be able to restrict athletes' earning potential for things that are quote unquote off the court, off the field, and not part of their duties with playing for this school. So, I'm not going to tell you that Arkansas is going to always suck. No, they're not. I don't think so. Part of it is what you're saying, Matt. I mean, you get the right recruit, you look in the right place, you will find good players, diamonds in the rough, so to speak. But I also wonder if, because we're going to get to that point where it's the employee model. But does NIL at that point still exist to where it's not a level playing field still? Which I don't know. It feels really, really broken right now, and it's depressing to think about. That's kind of the other thing I get about this from the text line is there's a feeling of hopelessness across the fan base. I mean, there hasn't been a single positive text about it yet, and I understand why. 877-377-6963 calls and texts when you have thoughts about that. And here it was. I was going to try to get into a lighthearted segment about, hey, there have been some weird things with baseball teams recently. There was a Wagner player that got locked in a bathroom over the weekend, and they couldn't, they had to delay the Texas A&M Wagner game because of that. Jackson State played in Starkville yesterday, but they had to delay the first pitch for 30 minutes because Jackson State left their uniforms at home.
Nice.
That's more fun to talk about than NIL, but it's not as important as NIL. We'll wrap up hour number 1 in just a moment.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. If you're going to do some cold water bass fishing, you need to be using an Umbrella Flash Mob Jr. It's the best lure for duplicating a small school of shad and can be worked from the top of the water column to the bottom.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McCarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McCarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McCarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline continues to be your number one source for all your basketball wagering needs, including pro and college hoops throughout the year. With up-to-the-minute odds, stats, and trends, you can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with in-game live betting, contests, and all the best player props. Experience the world's best wagering platform anytime from your desktop or mobile device. Head to BetOnline today to become part of the team. And remember to use the promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Looking for an African adventure without the hassle of planning? Kruger Safari Club has got you covered. Our custom hunting and safari packages take care of everything from transportation to accommodations, so you can focus on enjoying the experience of a lifetime. With our team's extensive knowledge of the best hunting and safari spots in South Africa, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, you'll have access to some of the most breathtaking views and exciting game hunting opportunities on the planet. And with our commitment to ethical hunting and giving back to the local community, you'll know that your trip with us is making a positive impact. Book your trip now and let us take care of the rest. Find out more at KrugerSafariClub.com.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Are you in need of a good power washing? Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash is a full-service pressure washing corporation with over 15 years of experience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. Cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more. We remove dirt, grime, and more to give you that sparkle you desire. Call me at 479-763-5561. We're open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash, one call, cleans it all.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor Abe from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
877-377-6963. Now here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
I guess sometimes the big corporations can hear you when you complain loudly about something. You see, so Wendy's is going to be getting these new menus, digital menus, that they can change the menu offerings at a moment's notice. And apparently they were going to use these new menus to implement what I don't think they referred to, but had been started to refer to as surge pricing, just like Uber and Lyft. I mean, I don't go out late like that very often, but I know a lot of people that get really ticked off when an Uber ride that would usually cost about $16 to get somewhere late at night when the bars are closed, and it's going to cost you $50 to $60.
Oh,
surge pricing,
data analysis,
supply and demand. That's right.
That's what you get for being connected to everybody.
Wendy's apparently thought they were going to be able to get away with this. I mean, I read the stuff about it yesterday. There was somebody on in their corporate board is discussing how, yeah, I mean, at the lunch rush, you might have an extra $1 to pay for a cheeseburger, but that also might get you to think about buying one when it's not the lunch rush. You know, forget about those hunger pangs when it's lunchtime. Just eat when it's more, when Wendy's tells you to eat more. I mean, now you're at this place where there was the CEO of Kellogg's that literally had a Marie Antoinette moment and said, let them eat cereal for dinner. He literally said that on CNBC a few days ago. Like, that's such a great thing to tell people, because food prices are spiraling out of control. Cereal for dinner, extra $1 when it's lunchtime at Wendy's. Wendy's heard it though, Matt. They said they're not going to do it now.
There's one world, right? And but there's plenty different ways to live in it. You know, there's a lot of people living in a world that you don't even know about. And they're just right here as well, right. Breathing the same air. But
the world where you make your own cheeseburger at home and don't pay yourself for it.
Man, go ahead, just eat cereal for every meal. That's be Jerry Seinfeld.
Hey, look, I have eaten cereal for dinner.
Big fan of cereal.
I have. You know, I'm 47. I kind of am starting to feel more like I'm 65 or 68. I've gotten on a cornflakes kick. Not Frosted Flakes, okay? The Corn Flakes, which I think was like one of the original cereals from like 120 years ago. Just made with milled corn and a little sugar and malt flavor. Like, I can eat that almost any time of the day. Matt, I had not eaten a bowl of cornflakes in, I think, 25 to 30 years. Now I'm eating one a day. What's happened to me, man? I mean, I got to start shouting at people to get off my freaking lawn now.
Well, you're light. I've noticed you're moving. You're quick on your feet lately, so I'd keep it up.
Maybe I'll go to Total or Product 19 at some point. But I'll just keep eating my cereal for whenever the heck I want to, Mr. Kellogg's CEO, and you can dump that box of cornflakes on your head. 877-377-6963 is the McClarty Daniel hotline. Clay Henry stops by. In fact, it's 2 hours. That's not stopping by. That's hanging out. He'll be right back with us in just a minute on Halftime.
Clogs? Nobody wants a clog. Westart Plumbing knows that clogs are a serious issue. They can signal that bigger problems are on the way. So contact Westart Plumbing while the problem is small. Slow shower and sink drains, gurgling toilets, and outside cleanouts making a mess? Call 479-646-5151 today. Westart Plumbing and expert drain cleaning since 1993. They keep you flowing. If you have slow drains or high water bills, call Westart Plumbing and expert drain cleaning service. 646-5151.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the homestead tax credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify. The homestead tax credit can save you up to $425 off of your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by Sebastian County Assessor and paid for by Amendment 79.
Walk-Ons is always a win. Whether it's a post-game celebration, drinks with the crew, or an easy weeknight dinner, Walk-Ons has you covered. Scratch-made dishes, wall-to-wall TVs, craft beers and cocktails. Dig into mouth-watering menu items like po' boys, gumbo, and voodoo shrimp, plus fan favorites like juicy burgers and fresh salads. Find your nearest location in Rogers, Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Conway, and coming soon to Little Rock, or order online or in the app. Walk-On Sports Bistro for the win.
Did Cupid shoot you with a crossbow of drama instead of an arrow of true love? Don't let that little cherub ruin the rest of your life. Call Mock Legal Solutions today to stop the bleeding. Schedule a free consultation and ask about our special pricing for new divorce filings in February. 479-769-1505. Mock Legal Solutions, real advice, reasonable price.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, sunny, cooler, our high this afternoon, mid-40s north, low 50s south. We will see a little bit more cloud cover sneaking in tonight, overnight low, upper 20s north, mid-30s south. And then partly to mostly cloudy skies, our high in the low 50s on Thursday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
This weather update is brought to you by real estate agents Nick and Ellie Glidewell, ready to serve you.
Good station.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3.
Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center Studios. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect it. If I'm all right. Joaquin State dominate, and we not doing it.
We're gonna go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah. Take it to the house.
Both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Bill Olson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. Let's go, man.
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
There ain't but one Razorback.
Second half, very happy.
And vintage Matt Jones. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Right now, let's take the field.
Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
Welcome back into halftime for hour number 2 on ESPN Arkansas and HitThatLine.com. Phil Elson, Matt Jones, the C Unit, Christian Johnston is producing, and we welcome in the one and only Hall of Famer Clay Henry for the remainder of the show today. Hey, Clay, how are you?
Doing great, guys.
Great. It's good to hear from you today, man. Did you have fun watching basketball last night? Was that a lot of fun?
I thought the baseball game was great.
Okay, that's probably the right way to answer a question about a basketball game.
Joking.
Yes, understand.
It's just, it's you don't know what you're going to get with these guys. Been really good for 3 or 4 games. The intensity was up, and Vanderbilt put that zone on them, and it just like everything came to a screeching halt. They act like they weren't sure what to do. They couldn't get to the basket anymore. And then they just decided we just fire threes for the rest of the game.
Yeah, that's not too much fun to watch, especially when it's an 8 o'clock game. You can stomach that a little bit more when it's like an 11 o'clock morning game on a Saturday, and you got more that you can do afterwards that makes you feel a little bit different about what you've done with your day. But at least baseball put up. I resist. Like Bubba looked at me at one point. It wasn't Bubba, it was Zach, who's back in the studios. He says, so when are you going to mention the 3 touchdowns? I said, I don't do that. I can't. I really do everything I can to resist. If a baseball team has scored 14 points, that they've got a couple of touchdowns, or 13 means that they've missed an extra point. I resist that, and I resisted it yesterday.
It is, that's just not how you do baseball. And it's I did have a funny feeling late Saturday night. And Sarah, my daughter, and I went to Arlington. Had a great father-daughter trip. The whole deal. We were gone for 4 days, and she put her phone on me, and they're playing the 7th inning stretch in the 14th inning.
Yep.
And she goes, "Dad, what are they playing right now?" And I said, "Sarah, it's the 14th inning stretch."
Well, so with 2 7th inning stretches for that game, we didn't have any yesterday. If you have a run rule game at home and the top of the 7th inning is the last, then there's no 7th inning stretch. I don't remember, now maybe I wasn't listening, but I don't remember any take me out to the ball game when the game ended, which would have been the middle of the 7th inning.
It would have been, yeah.
At least, so we've made up for it, though. That means we've made up for it with 2 of them in Arlington. Very good. I wish we wouldn't have had to go that far for a loss, though. That was
no.
That was tough. That was a tough one.
When you get into extra inning, I think the home team has a huge advantage.
Oh,
huge. And they can say, okay, we've got the pressure on. Every time you go out there, you're kind of up against it, when you're the visiting team in an extra inning game.
Well, it's like being the team that gets the ball last in overtime in football.
You got it.
Yeah, didn't we just see a game like that?
Now wait a minute.
But hold on, I thought you actually like that. In that case, they had a choice. They had a choice.
True.
The team that won the toss had a choice of whether they get it first or second. Arkansas had no choice in that over the weekend, so it's not their fault.
No, this to me would be the rule change that I would make is you play an inning, and then the visitor becomes the home for the next inning.
Now that's one I hadn't thought about before. Home is road. Road
that's
is
not
home.
original. I didn't come up with that, but I like it.
But hey, if college baseball is a sport where the home team can still be the visitor in their own ballpark in the college postseason, then I think we can get this thing passed. Because that's still, I understand the idea of fairness behind it, but home team is home team.
Especially in postseason. And I get it for a series. There's There's 10 series in the SEC. You're going to be home team in 5. You're going to be visiting team in 5. But when you get into postseason, you flip. After I think the best seeded team gets to be home, first. And then they start, kind of flipping at the end. Well, if you get in extra innings, you shouldn't have that huge of an advantage in a game that decides if you go to Omaha.
Yeah,
so it'd be like 3-6. It'd start out 3 outs, then it would go 6 outs.
No, it would be you'd be the home team, and say the 10th inning. One team would bat first, and then the next inning you'd flip it. Yeah,
that's what I
mean.
You would. That's what they do, and that's what they used to do in football overtime, Clay, in those 7 overtime games.
They still do it in college.
Yeah, so that's kind of that motto, that formula.
Yeah, so that one side doesn't just keep the advantage all the way to the end.
If you do that, though, I think you got to give the pitcher at least extra time to rest, other than just the 90 seconds.
Yeah, I hadn't thought it all out.
Either that, or just you can only use 1 pitcher per extra inning in college. Now we're adding new rules onto it, but anything. Hey, I hope we don't get to this ghost runner thing.
I mean, my general thought on baseball is that it's been pretty good for 100 and something years. Don't mess with it. It is really a good game.
And yet we will still keep messing with it in some cases.
So
I don't mind the pitch timer. Nobody even pays attention to that anymore.
It's they've gotten through it.
It's baked
just
into
gotten
it
through it. And the hitters, they don't mess around. They want to tighten their gloves. They do it quickly, and they're back in there. And I mean, everybody said it wasn't going to be right for them. Well, it's fine. Nobody. Hey, I kind of like it. Ryan Hilfrich, he doesn't wear any gloves, does he?
No, he doesn't. That's right.
Who was the last guy? It was Gates.
Yeah, I was going to say, I remember Jared Gates didn't wear batting gloves.
Yeah.
There might be another guy that I'm forgetting about, because Gates' last year was 19, I think, or 20.
Yeah.
So I think there's been somebody else that doesn't wear them.
Hey, we didn't, Phil, when we grew up, we didn't wear gloves. I don't know, did they have gloves when you played?
Well, yeah, they had batting gloves.
No, we didn't have batting gloves.
I didn't wear them. No, I didn't wear them. I spit on my hand, I rubbed it in dirt, and called it an at-bat.
Did you tell me your son is not wearing gloves, or does he?
He's got batting gloves. He just doesn't wear them. Yeah.
He didn't wear them. Okay.
No, he I guess he wanted us to spend the money on it. That was it. Yeah,
I gotta have them.
Oh, that's fine. There's plenty of other
tucked in the back of my pants.
That's
so
just
when
a tradition for kids. You know that. I mean, how many things do you spend money on the kids and they don't even look at the thing? Happens all the time.
Yeah. Well,
Little League season is coming up soon too. I can't wait to see if this kid can record his. How many hits do we have last year? 2 of them. One of them legit. The other one, I loved it. You remember this, Matt? Gabe's first Little League base hit.
Got somebody thrown out.
It was so controversial that the opposing team head coach was thrown out.
Tossed.
Of an 11-year-old game. Can we see that again, please? Can we go back to the monitor and put that on replay? I actually do have that. Didn't I? I sent you that video, Matt, so I know I've got that in there somewhere. Did you have, all right, so batting gloves, receiver gloves. Does every receiver wear gloves? Did you ever play an NFL game, Matt, without gloves?
Yeah, like if it's raining, you have different types of gloves as well, based on the weather, the cold. They have that golfer gloves. Clay, don't you use that Calbretta leather? When
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the only leather I use in golf. But they make different kinds.
Explain to me for a moment here why do golfers only wear the one glove sometimes on the bottom hand only too, right?
It's top hand.
See what I know? Tells you what I know.
The left hand for a right hander, and but there's a guy. I don't think he's on the tour now, but he was for a long time. Tommy Gainey, and they called him Two Gloves. And he wore a glove on both hands.
And he got a nickname based on that. That's how
Tommy
how unique that is, huh?
Yeah.
Well, you'd see over there in the British, if it'd be spitting sideways, they might wear 2 gloves then. You have your rain gloves on a little bit. I've seen Phil do that.
Hey, Matt, did you notice yesterday the great Norwegian Holland?
Oh, yeah. Dude.
Haaland, 5 goals. That's for Manchester City.
Do you know the guy that had the 4 assists is the new Belgium James Bond? Kevin DeBruyne.
So
have you seen
where's
him?
number 7?
Dude, what he's he's 0017. So
Okay.
he's 17. But you got to look when you watch this dude out there on the field. You're like, oh, that's the Belgium James Bond.
Yeah, no
he's
question.
so awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So we know a hat trick is 3, a brace is 2. Do either one of y'all know what 5 goals is?
A brace?
A brace,
brace is 2.
2, yeah. Quintuplet?
No, it's called a glut.
A glut. 5 is a glut. What's 4?
Not a glut.
It's not a
Close
glut.
to a glut.
Glut. Yeah.
Glut-ish.
Dude, DeBruyne had 4 assists. That's almost just as that's 4
that's
assists
great.
probably harder than having 5. I mean, 5 goals is ridiculous.
Yeah.
What's it called when you have more fouls than points scored in a basketball game? What are you going to call that?
Well, that's I mean, you look at Devontae Davis, Jeremiah Davenport, and Mekhi Mitchell. They had more fouls than points.
They did.
Those you can't win. That's those 3 guys have to play better.
Mekhi's he's got to get some defensive rebounds, and he's got to score a little. Bless their hearts.
Oh, we broke out a bless their hearts for it. But you know what, Clay? You're not the only person who's thinking that. That's for sure. Hey, there's just a couple of days left for the specials at Fish City Grill in Rogers. They'll turn it over once March hits. Jalapeno bacon mahi-mahi tacos. Blackened Texas redfish. That is a Matt Jones favorite. This is delicious, delicious food at Fish City Grill in Rogers. They make it fresh every day. Available for curbside pickup and delivery at 479-636-8833 or fishcitygrill.com. We'll be right back with more halftime in a moment.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football?
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McCarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McCarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McCarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline continues to be your number one source for all your basketball wagering needs, including pro and college hoops throughout the year. With up-to-the-minute odds, stats, and trends, you can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with in-game live betting, contests, and all the best player props. Experience the world's best wagering platform anytime from your desktop or mobile device. Head to BetOnline today to become part of the team. And remember to use the promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Looking for an African adventure without the hassle of planning? Kruger Safari Club has got you covered. Our custom hunting and safari packages take care of everything from transportation to accommodations, so you can focus on enjoying the experience of a lifetime. With our team's extensive knowledge of the best hunting and safari spots in South Africa, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, you'll have access to some of the most breathtaking views and exciting game hunting opportunities on the planet. And with our commitment to ethical hunting and giving back to the local community, you'll know that your trip with us is making a positive impact. Book your trip now and let us take care of the rest. Find out more at KrugerSafariClub.com.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Are you in need of a good power washing? Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash is a full-service pressure washing corporation with over 15 years of experience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. Cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more. We remove dirt, grime, and more to give you that sparkle you desire. Call me at 479-763-5561. We're open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash, one call, cleans it all.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor Abe from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
If you strike out, you go 0 for 4, you wear the collar. You strike out 4 times in a game, you get a platinum sombrero. 5 times in a game is a platinum sombrero.
4 is a golden sombrero.
Did I say platinum twice? 4 is the golden sombrero. 5 is the platinum sombrero. 6 strikeouts is go get another job.
Change your major.
Exactly. So what did we hear? So a hat trick in soccer is 3. 4. What did you find out? 4
It's a haul.
Now that's HAUL, like U-Haul.
Like U-Haul. Yeah. And 2's a brace. But they start there. But yeah, a haul for 4.
Why do we need something to describe 2 of this? I thought 3 would be the special thing.
Well, soccer, it's a lot of 1-0 games.
You're right.
It's kind of if scoring 2's like a Dame Lillard going for 34. That's kind of what. Yeah.
So 3 touchdowns in a football game would be.
That's a new Camaro.
That's a new free agent contract. Yeah.
That's a raise in your NIL. Yeah.
You got it. You got it. Yeah. So
who's playing with the squeaky toy back there, Clay? I hear a squeaky toy.
Yeah, so G-Nan's gone, so I'm entertaining the dogs, and this young one that's 15 months old, she hits little spurts, and she's got 3 toys on the couch, and all of them are squeaky toys, and she's going from one to the next, and then she looks at me like, "Are you gonna play or what?"
I started here. I was looking around like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Is the cat getting into something? No, she's quiet.
You can hear.
Oh, you can't not hear it.
Yeah. She's her tail is wagging, and she's on the couch. She's a yellow lab, and she's bouncing around the couch. There's yellow hair all over the couch now.
This is what happens when Dad is left home to watch over the pups, right?
Yeah, or kids. It's the same. Yeah, and then the 15-year-old. The old girl, she looks at me like, "Make her stop. Can you get rid of this puppy?" She's, bless her
heart. 4 touchdowns in a game, according to Jody and Harrison, is an Al Bundy.
An Al Bundy.
That's perfect because I remember hearing that story about him too. Absolutely. So all right, so on the NIL, it kind of was a good segue onto this. I don't know if you saw Chris Bauer, who's the executive director of Arkansas Edge. Tweeted yesterday about, and he quote tweeted the football recruiting class, which is ranked number 23 in whatever the rankings are, and he says on the tweet, we can have a top 15 class essentially if we give more to Arkansas Edge. The replies to that tweet were not favorable.
No,
not at all. because and when you read the replies, it's the same thing that we've had on the text line when I brought this up in the first hour. Fans feel overtaxed already as pillars of the Razorbacks financially with season tickets and merchandise and donations to the foundation, and they feel, look, I mean, maybe some of this is because of the lack of success in the two major sports.
Return on investment.
Yes, that's the thing, is that you expect the return on your investment. Tickets, you buy tickets, you get the experience to the game. Foundation, you donate to the foundation, you get access to the tickets. But if you're paying into NIL, what's your return on investment? Wins.
Yeah, so this is one of those old questions: which comes first, the chicken or the egg? And I think what's going on, like at Ole Miss in Missouri right now, is that they see success. So they apparently, we don't really know. Nobody gives out numbers. There's no database for funds. What's being spent. Some sports you got salary caps. There is no salary cap in this, so you don't know what Missouri and Ole Miss and others in Texas are actually spending. But the suspicion is, okay, they're winning, so their fans are they're jumped in with 2 feet, whereas Arkansas fans are jumping in with 1 foot. Well, I don't know that that's true. I had an interesting experience last week, Phil. I mentioned it kind of in the break. I was in a local business in Fayetteville that does retail and car type stuff. And it's like, man, it is dramatically different, my business. I used to be dealing with athletes that had broken down cars. In fact, he mentioned Darren McFadden with an old Crown Vic that was always having something, needed to be fixed. And he says, now I'm dealing with athletes and they've got new cars and they've got they're spending money on rims, tires, different lift kits. They're spending money differently, but they got new cars. And his take was, our athletes are doing pretty good in NIL based on what he's seeing.
Well, and to your point, Phil, and I think to your point too as well, Clay, combined right now between the two varsity sports, the juggernauts, the basketball team and the football team, we have 6 conference wins. I mean that's a bummer.
ROI.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So it's like, how much do we have to give? What? But we don't know that. We do not know. Okay, how much, and then we got enough? We just got to give more. Well, it's really tough.
It's about how you allocate it. It's about how you evaluate the talent and getting the right guy. I don't know that you just throw money at it. You gotta. There has to be a process.
You have to be better than everybody else at exactly.
Well, you need an Arkansas coordinator. You need a Division II recruiting guy. You need somebody who's watching Mountain West tape, Pac-12 tape. Somebody saying, hey, these are guys that can make this jump up, and somebody who do we not have anybody out there evaluating this stuff?
Yeah, they've got all.
Well, they need to do better because they're. I mean, where the.
Well, but they'll tell you we do know who we want, but we don't have enough money for some of them. That's what they're saying, and
that's just an excuse.
That's what the Pirates say every year when it comes to free agency, and you know where I am on them, and I hate to keep going back to that. I don't believe what they tell me. You got a billionaire owner, you can spend money on these guys. Yeah. I mean, I actually kind of do believe that Arkansas doesn't have the NIL funds that somebody else does. So maybe in that case, Clay, maybe you got to lower your expectations as to who it is you're shooting for, right? I mean, if you don't have the funds to go get the top free agent in college basketball on an annual basis, you got to lower your expectations and find value.
I don't think it's real. I don't think anything has really changed, and I think it still comes down to evaluation of talent. And instead of evaluating, okay, you've got X number of 5 stars out there, and Alabama was getting most of them. Texas is getting a good chunk. Southern Cal was getting. I'm talking about nationally. Southern Cal is getting a good chunk. Ohio State's getting a good chunk. Then there's another group of 4 stars, but the bulk of who that you were signing at Arkansas, 4, 5, 6 4 stars, the rest are 3 stars. Well, there's like 5,000 of those. and they're not all created equally. Some are coming, some are going. In other words, some have peaked out, and some of them are still developing. And so you have to evaluate as a head coach and assistant coaches, where are those 3 stars in their development and how much further. But it's the same thing now. It's not high school players. It's, okay, there's a guy at Louisiana Tech, and how's he doing in the Sun Belt or the Southland? I mean, how will he be if we take him? Because there's 3,000 in the portal. You got to go out there and evaluate. So it still comes down to evaluation, projection, and filling needs.
Well, I haven't evaluated too well.
No?
Not yet. Look, Muss has evaluated very well previously. You got the track record of that. But
go back to what I said about filling needs.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have tackles. You can't miss, in an area like that. You got to have a right tackle and a left tackle on offense. You got to.
Yeah, JT points out about Hunter Dickinson, openly wanted him. Grant Nelson, we wanted him. They went to higher bidders.
But that's not any different than it's ever been. That's not any different. I mean, do you think Nolan, when they won the 94 championship, got everybody that they wanted? No, they didn't. They picked right. Some of those guys weren't the highest of 5. Corliss Williamson was. Scotty Thurman wasn't being recruited by everybody in the country. Louisiana Tech wanted him. LSU kind of wanted him. That's nailing your evaluation.
Well, and those were high school players too.
Yeah, but it's still evaluation.
It is evaluation. It's just that there's more proof of somebody's ability to play well in college if they've played 3 or 4 years. A guy like Dickinson would have paid dividends for this team, like Nelson too. That wasn't a matter of, you whiffed on a big man, so you didn't really bring anybody in. Brought in Lawson, and I'm not sure how much of a big man he is.
Lawson's okay. I still don't understand how you start a guy and then he doesn't play anymore. We don't. We have some guards. All right, we have a collection of guards. We do not have a point guard this year. There's not one guy on here you say that's a point guard. I have not seen a college basketball team ever do good with not having a point guard. It's like not having a quarterback. We don't have a guy that you like. That's our point guard.
So you tell me which player on this team has got everything. He's like Phil, we call them 5-tool players in baseball. Very rare does a college team get a 5-tool player. So, but which of these basketball players can they shoot? Can they defend? Can they which one of these?
Mark would have the most checks.
That's the closest.
Mark has the most checks.
But if you go back and you look at 94, 95 Razorback team, they had about 12 that could do everything. Alex Tiller wasn't a great defensive player, but the rest of them, and they all had one thing, toughness. I do not see that on this team.
Well, okay, so then, there are other tools.
That's a recruitable asset, toughness.
There are other tools that are different from the physicality of what we're talking about, which are tools. And I know this is the baseball aspect of it, but I think it's the same with basketball too. There is a 6th tool. And it is an inherent understanding of how to play the sport, of how to take your talents and be better than those talents. That's really what makes a special player. I don't like how many of these players have that 6th tool for basketball.
Yeah. Eddie Sutton called it the Valentine. That's the heart.
Mm-hmm.
That's the. How do you mean? That's a Corey Beck. That's a Clint McDaniel. I'm not telling anybody anything they don't already know. Don't see that with this team.
Well, 4 games left is what I see. 877-377-6963 is our McClarty Daniel hotline. Hey, warm up right now. It's warmer out there than it was a few weeks ago, but you got hot preseason savings on your choice of New Holland equipment at WT Equipment from today through March 31st. 0% financing for 60 months or a free loader on compacts. Hurry into WT Equipment today. Shop that huge selection of in-stock inventory. 0% financing or cash back on mid-range tractors and on select hay tools, or get $40,000 cash back on a new T7. So hurry into your local WT Equipment dealer today or go online to WTEquip.com. Again, offers end March 31st. Halftime's right back.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This is halftime.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked. Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodies.
Hello, this is Sebastian County Assessor Zach Johnson here to remind you to assess your personal property by May 31st to avoid late penalty. You can do this in person at one of our 3 locations, over the phone, or online by going to www.countyservice.net. I would also like to remind any current homeowners or individuals buying their homes on contract to contact our office and check on your eligibility for the Homestead Tax Credit. Contact us today to see if you qualify. The Homestead Tax Credit can save you up to $425 off of your tax bill.
This ad sponsored by Sebastian County Assessor and paid for by Amendment 79.
Roses are red, violets are blue. If I had your bank account, I'd worry about alimony too. I'm Jackie Mock with Mock Legal Solutions. Call today for a free consultation and ask about our special pricing for new divorce filings in February. 479-769-1505. Mock Legal Solutions, real advice, reasonable price.
Before you buy that next car or truck, stop by Broadway Motors in Van Buren. The best of the best for 2 straight years. Michael and his team offer the best prices on the best quality pre-owned vehicles in the River Valley. They invite you to stop by and check it out for yourself. Or if you prefer to check out their inventory online or even do your financing online. Michael has built his reputation as a husband, father, and owner-operator since 2006. Broadway Motors, 806 Broadway in Van Buren, or online at BroadwayMotorsAR.com.
Precision Overhead Door features the finest quality materials, installation, and service for all of your overhead door needs. Fully licensed and insured, with locations in Rogers and Fort Smith, serving all of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. Give them a call today at 844-PBS-STORE or online at PrecisionDoorNWA.com. Back-to-back winners of the Best of Award, Gold Best Garage Company in Northwest Arkansas, and also winners of the River Valley Precision Overhead Door.
The best Tex-Mex and even better service is at Joe's Grill and Cantina in Fort Smith. Every Friday is Fajita Friday, featuring their charbroiled steak and chicken. It's tender, full of flavor, and comes with all the fixings. Saturdays are for endless enchiladas with Joe's homemade enchilada sauce and all the beef, chicken, or cheese enchiladas you can eat. Joe's Grill and Cantina. Great Tex-Mex, even better service. 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game.
ESPN 95.3.
Something and there she was, like a double cherry pie. Yet there she was, like a disco superfly. I smell sexy in the air. Who's that lounging in my my chair. Who's that gal to VP upstairs in my direction? Mama, this Charlotte is a dream.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
So where the NFLPA has released their report cards for basically treatment of players by the NFLPA. So every member in the Players Association, and I guess, Matt, this wasn't available to you when you were playing for the Jaguars. You grade your franchise from A+ to F- on treatment of families, the food that's available to you in the team cafeteria, the nutritionist or dietitians that are on staff, the locker room, the training staff, and the weight room. 7 pretty important pieces of this. I know they also grade every field that you play on, but I don't think this is part of that. This is just basically how they treat you. So this was not available to you when you played?
Yeah, I don't remember doing that survey. Now you'll have NFLPA meetings. You have all sorts of meetings, all sorts of stuff that goes on throughout the year. I'd imagine that everything just keeps getting better. The quality of the athlete, the quality, the environment. I'd be interested to see who are some of the top teams, who are some of the bottom teams.
The Dolphins are probably the highest. The best graded team by their own players. They got an A in everything, or an A-, at least an A- in every one of these categories. Got an A+ for the weight room, so I guess they have the best weight room. Let's see there. It looks like I don't see anybody else that got all A's. So the Dolphins where it's at. My team, the Steelers, are one of the worst reviewed teams in the entire NFL. F- for treatment of families.
Wow, F. That's not good.
That's not a good thing.
No.
You expect to have your family treated well by the team that's paying you. Who did I see? The Bucks, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and there's so many like little blurbs that you're hearing about this and that, and that's why these players vote. Give this grade for this team and this grade for that team. Apparently, the Bucks charge younger players nearly $2,000 for the season to get their own room on the road. So did you have a roommate?
Jacksonville did that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did you think about that?
Well, they used to give you per diem as well, and then they start having a team meal. Like there was an optional team meal, and so it saves them money. It's still a business. You got to remember that a lot of these guys that own these teams, it's not their main business, they're trying to make money as well. They didn't get to own an NFL team not being greedy. I mean, you gotta have a little bit of that in you.
Phil, when we went down to Buccaneers, I can't remember what the name of the place is. The stadium where Tampa is.
Yeah, that's
where you play Penn State, the bowl game.
Yeah, I know. I can't remember names of things all the time.
But
it's not the old sombrero.
So we see all these stadiums. We go to AT&T Stadium where the Cowboys play.
Raymond James Stadium.
Raymond James. It's a dump. I mean, it's just. I mean, you think this is an NFL stadium?
I mean, it was okay.
But it's not a. It's. I mean, it doesn't compare with anything that I would say. An NFL team should be here, and I just. But it. That kind of speaks, doesn't it, to what that franchise is. That's where they play.
Do fans take pride in any of this? Because this is not like a fan survey. Fans would worry about the ability to get good players in free agency, and because those are the guys that I would assume free agents might pay some attention to some of these rankings here or these grades. Of course, the dollar figure is probably the first and foremost thing you look at, but if offers are equal, wouldn't you rather play somewhere that is better reviewed by your peers than the other teams in terms of all the things that you would care about? I'd care about how my family is treated by the franchise. I would care about the food that's available to me. Like, would you like to be a Cincinnati Bengal? Apparently, they get rotten bread and nasty peanut butter sandwiches because they got an F- for their food and cafeteria.
Yeah. So Phil, we both did different things this past weekend. You were in a radio booth, and I was in the stands. Globe Life Stadium. Give me your thoughts on what you had to work with. And I know it's not really important. All you need is a microphone, and you can make do, right?
Well, the booth is great. It's a fantastic. I love first of all, the ballpark is outstanding, but they didn't open the whole thing for college baseball. So they didn't have all of the concessions available.
No, they didn't. It was about, I'd say, 1/5.
It was pretty much just burgers, dogs, and nachos, and that's it. There wasn't media food. There wasn't any media food. We had to pay for our food there, so I just started bringing food in after I realized that. So it didn't give you that major league
Didn't
experience,
have the vibe. Yeah.
right? But it had a vibe of an outstanding atmosphere for college baseball. But you have better options for food in any game at Baum than you would have had at Globe Life.
Yep. So I was really disappointed. We planned Saturday to come early. Sarah and I, was a father-daughter trip, and we were like, okay, we're going to go to Texas Live and have, like a 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. experience. It was closed. It was closed.
I think
Saturday.
I heard that there was some sort of a
Some
private event.
Yeah.
It was hilarious because
the whole place was closed down, locked up.
Your buddy Rick, who we know well, had announced there was going to be some big watch party that he was trying to put together. Hey, everybody, come watch with us at the basketball game at 11 in the morning on Texas Live. And then he had to tweet again. Hey, you remember that thing I told us? Let's all show up for. Yeah, we can't do that now.
So we just went on in the ballpark and watched the game before, which ended up being a run rule. So there was no ball game to watch. There was like 3 hours between games. Michigan got run ruled, and then they advertised that their number one food is called a boomstick. It's a 2-foot-long hot dog with all this special stuff.
I had told Matt about that, and they even do like a boomstick burger now. I was going to go get one of those and challenge me. They didn't have any of that stuff.
That wasn't there.
Yeah, you would have had to buy 5 hot dogs, put them together, and that would have been your boomstick.
We got burgers, and it was okay. It was okay.
That's right.
I'm not getting it, but it's like that. I understand they might have 3,000. There's no use opening all that stuff for some of those games. For the Arkansas games, they probably could have opened some more restaurants.
Oh, they could have. There was, though. Now, I did go through one of the concession stands there, and it was a new experience. I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, am I trying to have fun while I'm doing this? No. You scan your card before they have, it's like a gate. There was a gate to walk into the concession stand. You have to scan your credit card before you walk in, and then the gate opens, and the system inside that stand knows everything you pick up. So when you walk out, it knows what you walked out with, and it charges you just like that. It's
the
nice
gate
and
opens, and you walk in when your card is scanned, and then when you get all your stuff, the gate opens and you walk out. Self-serve.
So I wonder what happens if you take the food and before you walk out, you just throw it over the wall.
They see that too.
Then they're going to kick you out of the ballpark, I guess.
No, I think there's somebody that's going to run you down.
Hey, Cowboys fans, you guys were actually reviewed pretty well. The A- for treatment of families, B for the food, B for nutritionist, A for locker room. That is a great locker room. I've seen that. C- for training room. Cowboys got an A for the weight room, but a D+ for the training staff. So think about that. I mean, they were fairly well reviewed in every single aspect except the training staff, who
something's going to change there.
I would assume that changes pretty quickly if Jerry's paying attention to that.
So, Phil, I talked to some people, some workers. I like to just kind of just hunker down, and I was like, what's kind of the feel of all this, this new stadium and everything? And he says, well, we feel like the new stadium got us a world championship. I was like, really? And he says, yeah. He says, players did not want to come play in 110-degree heat in that old place. He says, but they will come play in this place. And he says, so the free agents that we got, they wanted to come here instead of them just coming here because they got a big check.
Hasn't happened yet. Has not quite happened yet.
Well, no, they won the world championship. The Rangers.
Oh, we're talking the Rangers. All right, all of a sudden, I thought you were talking about the Cowboys.
I apologize.
No, you're right. And maybe that's not a coincidence. They did sign two of the best free agents once the ballpark opened. The guys up the middle. They got the pitching they needed.
And the manager.
It's a spectacular ballpark. I really do like that park. Just would rather they open up the concession stands when there's 18,000 people there, because we had some good crowds. We had some really good crowds for the Arkansas game. It was really funny too, because I'm packing my stuff up after the razor thin victory Sunday over Michigan, and we had I think it was like 13,000 people there for that game. For the second game, which was a high level game, Oklahoma State, Oregon State, like maybe 1/10 of the crowd that was there for Arkansas versus Michigan.
Yeah, so I talked to some Oklahoma State people, because you're just kind of intermingled, and I was like, man, y'all didn't represent. And he's like, we hosted Oklahoma and Bedlam Saturday in basketball.
Yeah, and I also saw they had a. I was told there was a wrestling match, Oklahoma State and Iowa, which is a big deal.
Yeah, that's the two heavyweights. Yeah, it's like that's tough. It's like you're not gonna leave Stillwater when you got a Bedlam basketball game. So I guess that's the difference between the two programs.
Matt, your Jags were reviewed very well in every aspect except for treatment of families.
Shad Khan, he's the owner now. Wayne Weaver was the owner when I was there. But yeah, that's cool, man.
Well, I know they have to find a place to play for a couple of years, because they're renovating the stadium. So I don't know, that might make it a little tough to bring in free agents if you're playing in Gainesville, because they maybe end up playing some games in Gainesville.
Did the Vikings do it about 8, 9, 10 years ago?
They played at the Gopher Stadium.
Now both of them have new stadiums, I believe. I know the Vikings got the new stadium, but in Minnesota, are they getting a new stadium?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But it is outdoors. That means they had to play outdoors.
PJ Fleck, he came down here and got a kid from Arkansas that we didn't even want,
And we have definitely talked about Drake Lindsay quite a bit when it came to that. Yep. 877-377-6963 calls and texts on the McClarty Daniel hotline. I was told this morning on the Morning Rush, it is falling asleep in public day. Got a couple of guys to get to in a moment about that, but stay awake for it.
Husbands, sons, daughters, honor your wife or mother for Mother's Day at the inaugural Mystery at the Fort Legacy Ball, benefiting Heart to Heart Pregnancy and Family Care Center on May 11th at the U.S. Marshals Museum. Buy your tickets today for this 1940s mystery dinner, coupled with an exciting night of investigative entertainment and lively dancing with the band Who Shot JR. For more information, call 479-452-2260.
Hey, it's Ty Richardson for Papa's Pub and Pizzeria. I want to talk about their pizza today. The Goob Special with extra pepperoni and rib rub on top. The Parm Special with double mushroom and jalapenos. Don't forget about the bacon cheeseburger and everyone's favorite, the old trash can. Swing on by Papa's Pub and Pizzeria at 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith, or give them a call at 479-783-9941. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best dark pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
At A&P Auto Sales, we take pride in the way we do business. We focus 100% on our customers and believe car buying should be a fun, hassle-free experience. We will work with your budget and offer a dependable car at a price you can afford. Bank financing is available with approved credit, or cash is always accepted. Hop on over to 1202 Fayetteville Road in Van Buren and choose from a wide selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs. Contact us today at 353-1246 or check us out online at apautosales.net. Find your next car at A&P Auto Sales in Van Buren.
Do you need gutters but think they're too expensive, or that you need to get the soffit or fascia ready? No worries. Call the Gutter Guy. He does it all. No need to call multiple companies to get the right gutters for your home. Call the Gutter Guy. Quality, low maintenance, leak-free gutters with a 5-year warranty. The Gutter Guy also does vinyl siding and windows. The Gutter Guy. Over 30 years experience. Call 226-1259. Call the Gutter Guy.
Attention homeowners, storms are firing up quickly and widespread damage means thousands are reaching out for the right roofing company. Don't wait. Get on the schedule with Shamrock Roofing and Construction now for quality and peace of mind. One call does it all. Shamrock Roofing and Construction, call 479-319-5100. Need new roof? Shamrock Roofing and Construction can have you covered right now for as low as $139.99 with approved credit. For quality and peace of mind, one call does it all. Shamrock Roofing and Construction, call 479-319-5100.
Flu vaccines, both regular and high dose for seniors, are now available at Law's Drugstore in Fort Smith. Call 452-6116 to schedule your shot appointment. Usually there is no cost when covered by your insurance. Law's Drug has COVID vaccines, RSV vaccines for ages 60 plus. Pneumonia and tetanus shots are also available. Law's Drugstore, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drugstore, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
I know we're always on the go, heading to Fayetteville, Little Rock, Oklahoma City, and you need a place to fill up. But not just for gas. I need snacks, drinks, and a restroom that doesn't make me throw up. That's why my new favorite pit stop is Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue on the way out of town. I can't stop by without getting something from their hot box or a fresh made burger. That's Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue in Fort Smith.
The tires on your vehicle go round and round, but when they don't, go to Van Alma Tire. They have tires in their name. That's their specialty. Van Alma Tire is all about tires. They have all the name brands and private labels available for you and in stock. So when it comes to getting tires for your ride, it's worth the drive. And financing is available. Ask for details. Whatever your tire need, check out Van Alma Tires on Highway 64 between Van Buren and Alma. Ready to get you rolling on new tires at Van Alma Tire.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game.
ESPN 95.3.
Wait a minute. I got something to say. Oh, man. About his girl. It's great. Look. Let me tell you about this bad thing that I met last night. A heartbreaking beauty ain't afraid to fight to make a man sing. She's out her sight. She whispered in my ear, I hope you're ready tonight. You gotta put up on the gas. The Friday night, so make your best friend. Ready to fight. And there's a courage of a time. I hope you're did a bad thing. Don't wish you leave. I'll be right back. Come and give me some more. Doing the bad thing. It's only for show, so you can pack it up and leave it.
Welcome back to Halftime with Bill Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Bill Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
Not sure that this song goes along with the topic, but today is National Falling Asleep in Public Day. Now, we didn't bring it up earlier, but I know Ty and Tommy did on the Morning Rush this morning. I love reading the text line when I first log on before the show today. Gary in Huntsville said that he fell asleep during his wife's uncle's funeral service. He says, quote, "I was a real hero to the in-laws," unquote. That's a good one. Sometimes you can't help it. I can't help falling asleep in a movie theater quite often. Even at a theater in a movie that I'm interested in, it can be a little difficult to stay awake. Maybe that's goes along with my the turn in my life and the love cornflakes these days, and I'm getting a little bit older. Fall asleep in public I guess that means anywhere that's not your house. So my favorite place to fall asleep in public is a radio booth. It's pretty easy to do it with nobody can walk in. I was really good at this with the Travelers. I've done it at Balm a couple of times. You lay down, I can fall asleep anywhere. Lay down in the booth, put your feet up against the door, and then nobody can open the door as you're asleep, and the next thing they'll try to open it, and your feet are already up against it. It works perfectly. Trust me, this works very well.
You know somebody that could take power naps at will, just snap his fingers and take it, is Frank Broyles.
Now, a power nap is how long? 5 minutes? 10 minutes?
I think it might be 20, yeah. Yeah, this is one of the classic, and Norm DeBryan might deny this, but like when they were in old George Cole Field It is still George Cole Field. You may not know that, but it is officially. They play on
Yeah,
George
you're right.
Cole Field.
You're right.
Nobody says it anymore. It's kind of like it's Baum Walker Stadium, and that's good enough. But it was George Cole Field at the old ballpark across from the Hyper. And Norm's raising money. And, it's like, the way he did it was a la carte. I got somebody to pay for the lights. I got somebody to get new dugouts. I got somebody to new concessions. I got somebody for a bathroom. There were no bathrooms, no locker rooms, no nothing for players. They peed in a cup down in a shed, right?
Yeah, I've heard about this.
Yeah. So, it was a Longhorn Cup, by the way. And the horns were right side up, but they peed in it. So Norm gets, all these people to donate, and he's got about $3.5 million, but in chunks, for this new field. And so he goes in to tell Coach Broyles, and he's got his list, and it's got 1, new lights, and then the name of who's, given and how much. He got to 2, the second item out of 10, and he looks over and Coach Broyles is asleep. And so he got louder, like 3. And, thinking, well, if he gets louder, Coach Broyles will snap right out of it. Just kept asleep. Finally, like 4, Danita, the secretary, administrative assistant, whatever, like assistant AD is what I thought Danita was. She came in and was like, Coach, come to Norm, come back tomorrow. And says, come in the morning. Don't come in there. So that's how that went down. And then the next day, Coach Broyles says, no, we're just going to take all that and build you a new stadium.
And he realized he was listening while he was asleep.
I don't know if he was listening. I don't know.
Some people are good at that. I had a manager, Tom Gamboa, with the Travelers, who could fall asleep in mid-conversation on a bus. It was actually amazing to see in practice. Truly amazing. I got photos, action photos of him almost falling to the floor, sitting on the bus in mid-conversation, falling asleep. That was incredible. 877-377-6963 for calls and texts on the McClarty Daniel hotline. Stick around. Halftime back after the top of the hour.
Wheeler Power Sports is happy to announce their biggest clearance sale with combined factory and dealer savings up to $5,000 off through the end of February. Kawasaki Terexes and KRX 1000s are up to $3,500 off. 2023 Polaris Razors are up to $5,185 off. Kimco side-by-side starting at $67.99. Polaris generators in stock for less than $800. Wheeler Power Sports near downtown Fort Smith or online at wheelerpowersports.com.
Subiaco in Scranton, if you made a resolution to get reliable internet for the new year, Wave Rural Connect can make that happen. The latest zone covering Subiaco in Scranton is now open. Make this New Year's resolution come true with internet, TV, and phone service from a local provider you can trust. Order online at signup.waveruralconnect.com or phone 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Hey, I'm Hagen Smith. As an Arkansas pitcher, I know the importance of precision, skill, and keeping cool under pressure. That's why for your home, choosing the right team for heating and air is just as important. You want professionals who bring their best game. When it comes to staying comfortable, I rely on Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. They'll send pros to take care of your home, too. Sign up now for Pascal's Planned Protection membership before the summer heat for only $8.99 a month. Never pay for a tune-up again when they're included in your membership. Professional people, professional service. Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make Awake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Witts Marine. On North 11th Street is your place. Make Awake Bait and Tackle. Also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make Awake Bait and Tackle. 803 North 11th Street in Fort Smith. 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Witts Marine at Make Awake Bait and Tackle.
Whether you're fishing for cold water bass on Beaver Lake or Table Rock, or fishing for a trophy brown trout on the mighty White River, the Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue will catch them. It has that famous rolling action whether it's fished extremely slow or worked fast in heavy current. This rogue suspends, so it will stay in the strike zone longer, allowing you to catch more fish. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Smithwick Original Suspending Rattling Rogue.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, sunny, cooler, our high this afternoon, mid-40s north, low 50s south. We will see a little bit more cloud cover sneaking in tonight, overnight low, upper 20s north, mid-30s south. And then partly to mostly cloudy skies, our high in the low 50s on Thursday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
This weather update is brought to you by real estate agents Nick and Ellie Glidewell, ready to serve you. From the Bushlight Studios, this is ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris, Fort Smith.
Are you sure this is legal? I don't know. It's fun though, isn't it?
Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center Studios. Broadcasting on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that we respect it. If I'm all right. Why can't they dominate? And we not doing it.
We're gonna go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah. Matt Jones may take it to the house and the dunk.
Both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Bill Olson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. My heart, dog. Let's go, man.
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half.
What's able one Razorback?
Second half, very happy.
And vintage Matt Jones. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Right now, let's take the field.
Call or text on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
Welcome back into halftime, hour number 3. We've got Clay Henry with us up until the show ends, and then Ruskin and Zach will take you for the rest of the day. Phil Elson, Matt Jones, the C Unit with us too. It's halftime. Calls and texts on the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. A couple of callers held through the top of the hour break, so let's get to the phones. Talk to Chase, who's in Fort Smith first. Hey, Chase, appreciate you holding and for the call. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing well, Phil. I'm here in Fort Smith. I want to talk about the NFLPA, especially regarding the Chiefs. Look like they all were not very happy with Clark Hunt. As they're trying to get continued championships over and over, and cap space is already an issue. You'd think that the Hunt family would try to use the money that they have to improve the facilities, especially when that doesn't affect the cap space that you already have. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Well,
you might need a new yacht.
I guess they were. This is a very poorly reviewed team in this survey. The Chiefs got an F in nutritionist, locker room, training staff. The best reviewed thing they had was a C-, and let me see what that was in.
They didn't really take it seriously. Some of those you gotta wonder some of these things. When Steve Spurrier's like, I had the GA fill it out. I mean, how you think they really took it seriously? The Chiefs got all those Fs.
I would think so, just because this is the players, the labor's opportunity to at least have some sort of a voice that might carry weight with the rest of their membership. With Spurrier and a GA, was that about postseason awards and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, there was preseason all SEC quarterback, and Tim Tebow didn't get, South Carolina didn't vote for Tim Tebow, and so Spurrier's like, well, I didn't I've never filled those things out. I had somebody else, and he had to go back and and had to go back.
His top 20 ballot, he never filled it out.
Well, let me ask you then. I mean, Matt, if you didn't have this opportunity as a player, if you were given that opportunity, would you grade them honestly?
I wouldn't go talk against the family. You don't do that. You say good things about the family. You don't
because you want your your team to be able to bring in better players or players that you want to play with.
Unless it's blatant and obvious, you live in a spoiled world. You live in you don't ever wait in line for anything. You live in a different world when you're there. So it's what are you really complaining about?
Man, I get what you're. I get
It's
what you're
all
saying.
first class. It's just what level of first class is it? Every single thing they do is first class.
You think there's anybody that's standing at a Coke machine like David Justice complaining that I got to
Soda
spend
money?
Got to spend $1.50 on a
Gotta
Coke?
spend soda money?
Yeah. Or they just have it available for him now, or are they just like, we're not doing soda here because
There's
you're an
not
athlete.
soda. Yeah, it's Gatorade and water. That's right.
Exactly.
Protein shakes.
Yeah, it really sounded like the caller is disappointed in his team's grades. You wouldn't trade all A's for a Super Bowl, you take the Super Bowl championship is what I'm saying here. So they've obviously done something right, which isn't just about drafting Patrick Mahomes. There's other things too that go into this. So yeah, but I would take the Super Bowl championship, I guess, over the Steelers being graded as one of the worst in the NFL as far as all of these aspects are concerned.
It kind of feels like the Bears are going to trade Justin Fields and they're going to take Caleb Williams, because you remember the Bears could have drafted Patrick Mahomes and they took a Mitch Trubisky instead of. So just saying all that, I think it's still so fresh in their mind and everything that's going on. I think Fields is gone. Where'd Chicago rank on that? Where'd the Bears? Soldier Field? That's so iconic. I kind of wonder when you were talking about it, Phil, where did Soldier Field rank? Where did Lambeau Field rank? And then I figured Las Vegas would have all A's. It's brand new. They should be first class everything.
Vegas has 3 A's, a couple of B's, and a C+. The Bears, they're pretty much your classic
come see, come saw.
B- to B student, couple A's, 3 C's, 2 B's, and maybe we can figure out a grade point average for some of these franchises. By the way, Caleb Williams is saying all the right things now about Chicago. If they draft him, he's ready to play, ready to be a Bear. Michael Jordan, Walter Payton, Soldier Field, love the food, great city. Read an interview that he had about it. I thought there was a moment where he wasn't going to play for the Bears if they drafted him. Now he's ready to. So it doesn't seem like, is he asking for ownership of the team still? Slight little piece of the ownership if he's drafted by Chicago. They don't even want to play in Soldier Field anymore.
So what's the thought about, like Eli saying, he wasn't going to play for this team or that team? Well, what's the thought on that? Does it finally just go away that he did that?
I think it's environment, relationships with owners and coaches. I think when you have a guy like Archie Manning who's lived it and been through it, wants to make sure he goes to the right fit. I think there's a little bit of something like that.
Yeah. Well, but it's like the Chiefs, they might not be perfect, but that's a good franchise, isn't it? Bill, I'm asking.
That's the team that started the Patriots, that first team that beat the greatest show on turf of Tom Brady. That front office, that's the Chiefs front office. All those people that were at the Patriots ended up going to Kansas City.
That's interesting. Let's take a call from Charlie here. He's on the McClarty Daniel hotline. Hey, Charlie, what's up?
What's up, guys? Sorry I had to leave earlier, but the tuna has his own personal barber. So his personal barber finally showed up, and he got his hair cut. And I couldn't be a hairy tuna anymore, really hairy tuna. My beard, Matt, might have been longer than yours, so they were going to fire me if I didn't do something.
Do you get the hot towel, Charlie?
Yes, sir. But hey, I wanted to keep it like Matt, but man, they weren't gonna let me. They was tripping, man. It wasn't gonna happen.
Can't tell insurance looking like Jeremiah Johnson.
Or be involved in healthcare. It ain't gonna happen. Hey, Phil, I was gonna ask you, man. That first pitcher that went out there yesterday for Grambling, if I heard you right, you did say he was actually able to throw. He had a little velocity, correct? Compared to anybody else they threw out there.
Yeah, they had a guy, the first pitcher, I think, threw 80, 88 to 90. But, that doesn't mean he's a good pitcher. His ERA is well over 10. The second pitcher they flipped out there, I think I didn't even want to call it a fastball. It was 72. His changeup was like 56, 57 miles an hour. You don't learn anything about yourself facing a pitcher like that, or most of the pitchers they went out with there yesterday. What yesterday's about to me is just the batters feeling a little better about themselves now, because you will feel a little better about yourself if you if you see next to your numbers, Bubba says this all the time. They put the batting average up on the video board when you come up to bat. You can at least see it out of the corner of your eye. Doesn't matter if you hit against a guy that throws 75 or 110 miles an hour. If you look at that number and it's higher than it was the day before, you might be a little better about things.
Well, the next 11 games, batting averages should jump. I mean, that's just the way it works, right? And you get into SEC play and they start to go the other direction.
That's true. That is absolutely true. And, I wouldn't, you're not going to have the kind of pitching performance that you saw last weekend on a routine basis, but this is a Murray State team that's averaging almost 9 runs a game. They got a Friday starter, Jacob Pennington, that threw 7 scoreless last week. So they got a couple other pitchers with rather high earned run averages. So, yeah, that's the thing, too. You got to get these bats going. I got a question about the baseball team from Andy in Springdale asking about Jared Sprague-Lott. Can he play the outfield? I don't think you want him to play the outfield. Look, don't take the small sample of a couple of games in which he made 4 errors over at third base. And I think 2 of those errors were miscalled by the official score and should have been a base hit. I think he's going to be fine on the field.
Yeah, his history was great defensive player, good arm, weak bat. And it's like it's flip-flopped. Even Davis said that's not what they saw in the fall. That's not what they saw when they scouted him. Looked at all the video. But just go back to their third baseman last year, and it's Caleb. Help me, Phil. Callie. And he struggled, and then all at once he was lights out. So you got, sometimes it's about being patient.
Well, and I think it's about being patient for guys that are taking a step up in the competition, like Callie did from JUCO to SEC. For Sprague-Lott,
the shortstop, same thing.
Yeah, for Aloy, it's the same thing. I don't feel that way about fielding, though. Because maybe the balls hit a little bit harder depending on what level you're at. But
but it's just pressure right now.
Yes, I think the pressure is a little different.
Stress.
Maybe there was a little pressure that was in the back of Jared's mind on the throw that should have ended Sunday's game that tailed into the runner a little bit. But I'm not worried about him in the field. He's going to be fine at third base or second base or wherever he plays. He's not going to be an outfielder for this ball club. In just a moment, we are going to speak with Lauren Mallett Hayes, the sister of Ryan Mallett, and something very special to talk about that I know you guys spoke about on the Morning Rush today, so stick around. We'll be right back in a moment.
Here's the 1-1. Swung on, skied in the left. That ball's hit pretty well, and it's gone. Brett Eibner's hit a home run, and the ball game's tied. Brett Eibner has hit a home run, and the ball game is tied. The Razorbacks down to their final out, and Eibner, for all his troubles this season, has just saved things.
Listen to every Razorback baseball game on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Flu vaccines, both regular and high dose for seniors, are now available at Law's Drug Store in Fort Smith. Call 452-6116 to schedule your shot appointment. Usually there is no cost when covered by your insurance. Law's Drug has COVID vaccines, RSV vaccines for ages 60 plus. Pneumonia and tetanus shots are also available. Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drug Store, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
If you've lived in the River Valley for a while, you know about the great reputation of Jam Mart. And their newest location at 6201 Grand Avenue in Fort Smith is open. Stop by for coffee, gas, beer, snacks, ices, and a clean restroom every time. Don't forget about the hot deli and fresh-made burgers. Now 7 locations in Fort Smith, Greenwood, Boonville, Ozark, and Danville. Sign up for their loyalty program for discounts throughout the stores. Jam Mart, the leading convenience store and gas station in the region.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work. Real work. Working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Are you in need of a good power washing? Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash is a full-service pressure washing corporation with over 15 years of experience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. Cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more. We remove dirt, grime, and more to give you that sparkle you desire. Call me at 479-763-5561. We're open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash, one call, cleans it all.
You will never find a boring old burger at Art's Barbecue and Burgers in Fort Smith. Try the Wild West Burger, topped with a hot link, jalapenos, and Art's hot sauce. The Brisket Burger, with tender brisket and caramelized onions on top of their hand-patted burger. Or the famous Art Attack, with house bacon, smoked ham, an onion ring, and a fried egg. There are 10 different burgers to choose from, and they're all $1 off every Saturday. Art's Barbecue Burgers and more. Rogers Avenue, next to Buddy's in Fort Smith.
At A&P Auto Sales, we take pride in the way we do business. We focus 100% on our customers and believe car buying should be a fun, hassle-free experience. We will work with your budget and offer a dependable car at a price you can afford. Bank financing is available with approved credit, or cash is always accepted. Hop on over to 1202 Fayetteville Road in Van Buren and choose from a wide selection of cars, trucks, and SUVs. Contact us today at 353-1246 or check us out online at apautosales.net. Find your next car at A&P Auto Sales in Van Buren.
Get ready for adventure with unbeatable deals at Wheels RV now through the end of February. We're rolling out the red carpet for you with our exclusive employee pricing event on select in-stock trailers. That's right, you pay what we pay. It's our way of saying thank you for choosing Wheels RV. Employee pricing on select models. RV show pricing on all new and used inventory. Hurry in, this offer is for a limited time only. Visit Wheels RV today for details and to start planning your next great adventure. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Gonna stay the pack mine. Even John. Ain't seen no whiskey. Gonna make me stop it. Ain't no whiskey.
Find halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Man, I can't believe it's been since late June when Ryan Mallett unfortunately passed away in the drowning in Florida. But MallettFamilyFoundation.com has now been started by the Mallett Family Foundation. We have Ryan's sister, Lauren Mallett Hayes, with us to talk about this here. Lauren, appreciate you coming on with us and certainly for starting this foundation. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate you helping me spread the word.
So explain what the Mallett Family Foundation is doing here and where the idea came from and how long it's taken to sort of just kind of implement it.
Mm-hmm. Well, Ryan and I had talked before he was ever drafted about starting a foundation, back 2009, 2010, and life just kind of took different paths just happened, and we weren't able to make it happen at that point. And then when Ryan passed, Mom and I just had so much outpouring of stories about how Ryan affected people throughout the state, but mainly, how he was with everybody's children and, how he gave his time to any kid that came up to him. And we had a front row seat to that, throughout his college career. But just to know that other people saw the Ryan that we got to see was just so heartwarming for us. And we wanted to see how we could kind of continue to be able to push that love out into the state. And so Mom and I started talking, and I said, I'd really like to kind of get this foundation idea going again, and what can we do? And obviously, sports are a huge part not only of Ryan's life but just our family's life. You know, my dad was a coach. Mom and I both played sports. My uncles all coach. So just a big athletic family background, and knowing how sports can impact youth lives, you know, physically, mentally, and also just the life skills that they can learn. So how can we use this platform to get more kids involved in esports? And a lot of times financial burdens keep kids from being able to play and get involved. And so what we decided to do was partner with schools across the state to host these camps for all sports, male and female, and offer them free to the participants. And in return, the foundation is going to make a donation to those host schools to use those funds however they need for their athletic departments, whether it's helping kids buy those shoes that they can't afford or getting uniforms for the team or equipment that they need, but being able to really impact as many underprivileged and K through 8th graders that we can by offering these camps for free. We've got 2 other legs that are also going to be a focus of the foundation, and that's for 10th through 12th graders that need financial assistance to kind of help get them to these athletic camps on college campuses because they might be recruitable, but they can't get in front of the right people. We're going to work with coaches across the state to identify those players and offer them an opportunity for athletic scholarships to be able to go to those campuses, those camps on the campuses. And then Ryan really had a passion for people that just had a really hard home life, you know, a difficult upbringing. And so we really wanted to incorporate that into what we were doing. And so we thought the best way we can do that is offer academic or vocational tech scholarships to foster care kids that have aged out of the foster care system and don't have that extra support to kind of help get them guided and moving their life trajectory on the right path, you know. So those were the 3 main ways that we're going to be kind of trying to impact the youth throughout the state.
Lauren, this is Clay. Thank you for spending time with us. I got to be around, interviewed Ryan so many times, and then through the years, you know, we hung out at the same duck camp, usually in January when he's done, you know, his downtime, and, you know, got to spend time where, you know, just relax and get to know the Ryan that you know. And I also saw him at Mountain Home High School and around town and the way the kids just reacted to him. And I don't think, you know, fans really knew that Ryan, and also got to see kind of the growth and the maturation, you know, at Whitehall. The kids just responded to him, and he gave back. And I think this is so cool. And I'm not sure that, you know, everybody understands. Y'all have put up $150,000 of your money in this, and it's just, to me, it's just so cool. And just
to speak to that, we are offering a match program. The first $150,000 we are matching for, correct. I think it's sometimes with these foundations, the initial excitement is there, but we're trying to really plan for long-term and longevity of the foundation. So it's definitely going to be crucial that we have support throughout the state to make sure that we're able to continue this for a long time.
Hey, Lauren, I would not know anything close to the answer to this question. So I know right now you'll be funding 6 football camps for high schools, paying for uniforms, equipment for the teams to make this free. What does it cost for one football camp?
Well, I think right now we're looking at making about a $5,000 donation to each of the schools that host for each camp, I should say, not each school, because if a school hosts multiple camps throughout the year, then, you know, a football camp will go to the football program and the basketball camp will go to the basketball program. So we're actually hosting right now 4 football camps and 2 basketball camps that are currently lined up. And then I'll be talking to different athletic directors next week at their yearly retreat and hopefully get a couple more lined up. Ideally, I'd love to at least get 10 in this first year, but we'll see how it goes. And I definitely don't want to overshoot and then not have the funds that I would like available for those schools. So we're kind of gradually moving into that phase. We also are going to have a big fundraiser at in the fall. So it's called the Pros versus Joes event. We're going to have ex-collegiate and professional players come play, people around the state that have not played at the collegiate or professional level, and just make it a good time, tailgate before, have a concert after, and a silent auction. we just feel like that was something that Ryan would want to be involved in, and a gala or something more formal would not really be his style. So we're trying to really make sure that we keep him at the center of what we're doing.
So you can already donate. The website is up, MallettFamilyFoundation.com, right?
Uh-huh.
And
yes.
I'm going to donate, and this is something that, you know, if you're a Ryan Mallett fan and you've like, when we've got a void, we've lost. This is a way to kind of keep his legacy going, which is, you know, what I want to do. My wife and I have talked about this, but Lauren, this sounds like a lot of work. we're going to pray for you because I know what you're trying to do, and this is big.
Well, thank you. I'm ready to tackle it. I think it's definitely a need in our state, and you know, it's been heartwarming for us, especially being in a state like Arkansas where you don't have a professional team. The fan base has been so big, you know, and gravitated towards Ryan when he was at Arkansas, and so they've just really wrapped their arms around us once we lost him, because that love was there. And I don't know that many states have that same type of following, you know, with their universities, because they have other outlets that they can go unite with. But for Arkansas, you know, it's really the Razorbacks. So to us, it's just important to make sure that the state knows that we felt that, and we still feel that, and we still want to be a part of helping the youth in our state.
But it also goes to show about what, you know, I mean, high school football is, I mean, it means a lot here. It means a lot in a lot of other places. But this is also, that's as grassroots as it gets. Like, if you're going to connect with, you know, where football grows from, you know, these camps and other sports too, basketball camps, baseball camps, all of that kind of stuff. Watching the game is one thing, attending a game is another, but you want to be able to put it into practice. The best way to do that is to learn at camps, and that's exactly what this seems like to me. Is it's getting to grassroots.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And when you just look at Ryan's trajectory, you know, growing up as a coach's kid, he was constantly at a field or a court, you know, and had a ball in his hand. So the earlier we can get kids involved and learning those motor function skills, you know, it's just super important.
What was so cool is to watch Ryan just kind of continue to mature. And I was joking with him in an interview I did last spring. I said, you know, down at Whitehall, there's some men, they got a man that came in here to coach. And he goes, well, it was about time, Clay. He says, I'm halfway to 70.
You know, Ryan lived life to his fullest, and it may have taken him a little bit to get there, but he finally did, and he really was in his element.
Yes, he did, Lauren.
Coaching, and he loved it.
Yep.
Lauren Mallett Hayes, Ryan's sister, part of Mallett Family Foundation, raising money for really to connect kids with the sport of football. Lauren, thanks for coming on with us. I know this will work. I was going to say I hope it works. I know it will, and we'll be paying attention. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Lauren Mallett Hayes, again, that is at MallettFamilyFoundation.com if you want to put a little money towards that. Again, the family put up $150,000 of their own money, so we can help out a little bit. Open that McClarty Daniel hotline as we head to the home stretch of halftime, 877-377-6963. Be right back.
KC Insurance wants to remind everyone they are your...
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Call or text the McClarty Daniel hotline at 877-377-6963. McClarty Daniel, a vehicle for every lifestyle.
When you're looking for a new car, you want to shop for a vehicle you love with an organization you trust. You've probably heard that McClarty Daniel means making deals, but what I'm inspired by the most is that McClarty Daniel means making a difference in our community. When you buy a vehicle with McClarty Daniel, you reinvest right here in the community, in our schools, in our little leagues, in our food banks, and our people. So you're not just making a purchase, you're making a difference too. Come see us at any of our 6 locations in Northwest Arkansas.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
A dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline continues to be your number one source for all your basketball wagering needs, including pro and college hoops throughout the year. With up-to-the-minute odds, stats, and trends, you can follow your favorite team's path to the playoffs with in-game live betting, contests, and all the best player props. Experience the world's best wagering platform anytime from your desktop or mobile device. Head to BetOnline today to become part of the team. And remember to use the promo code BELIEVE for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Looking for an African adventure without the hassle of planning? Kruger Safari Club has got you covered. Our custom hunting and safari packages take care of everything from transportation to accommodations, so you can focus on enjoying the experience of a lifetime. With our team's extensive knowledge of the best hunting and safari spots in South Africa, Mozambique, and Zimbabwe, you'll have access to some of the most breathtaking views and exciting game hunting opportunities on the planet. And with our commitment to ethical hunting and giving back to the local community, you'll know that your trip with us is making a positive impact. Book your trip now and let us take care of the rest. Find out more at KrugerSafariClub.com.
Are you looking for the best Razorbacks insight and analysis?
Hell yes.
How about listening to an Arkansas football legend?
Matt Jones, all he does is make big plays.
What's the voice of the Hogs have to say?
Hey, what a great crowd last night.
Don't forget about the Omahogs.
The Hogs are going to Omaha.
Matt Jones, Chuck Barrett, and Phil Elson, the best in the business on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Go to hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and share.
Are you in need of a good power washing? Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash is a full-service pressure washing corporation with over 15 years of experience in the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas. Cleaning services include exterior home, fence, driveways, walkways, gutters, pool deck cleansing, and more. We remove dirt, grime, and more to give you that sparkle you desire. Call me at 479-763-5561. We're open Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Mike Jr.'s Mo Wash, one call, cleans it all.
Madonna has gone from like a virgin to like a surgeon. You can try to nip and tuck from the curse of sin, but eventually death is going to win. God will do major surgery on this sin-filled world, and when he does, people will try and hide their faces from him. Even plastic Christians won't be exempt. Look up Isaiah chapter 2 and see how the spiritual world renders this an immaterial world. I'm Pastor A from Woodland. Read about it.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric.
Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text ESPN Arkansas on the McClarty Daniel hotline, 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Hey, you know the best Tex-Mex and better service is at Joe's Grilling Cantina. Every Friday's Fajita Friday that features their charbroiled steak and chicken tender full of flavor, coming with the extras as well. Saturdays are for endless enchiladas with Joe's homemade enchilada sauce, all the beef and chicken enchiladas you can eat. That's Joe's Grilling Cantina. Great Tex-Mex, better service, 3400 South 74th Street across from Harps. Lance Leopold has gotten a raise. He's getting $2 million more to coach the Kansas Jayhawk football program, up from $5 million to $7 million. deal did not add any extra years. Still, contract runs through 2029. They're putting a lot of money into football at Kansas now. Raising Leipold because, well, he seems to be the name that gets attached to a lot of open jobs that might be more high profile. And they're putting a lot of money into the football stadium. So much so, I think in Kansas playing their games next year at Arrowhead. I think they are.
Rock Chalk Jayhawk, go get them. Yeah, it's not just a basketball school anymore.
Short drive. That's not far. About 45 minutes. They'll do fine there. It's I covered a lot of games at Kansas through the years, and this is unusual for them. I mean, they've not been good at football for what they had an Orange Bowl with
Rich McGarris or the old Mangini.
Mangini.
Same size, wrong sport.
Yeah.
The triple cheeseburger man.
You want to talk about the world has changed. Things changing here. Alabama is making assistant coaches available for interviews in spring practice. Let me repeat that because I don't know any others that's the case. Kalen DeBoer is making Alabama assistant coaches available to the media, and the press gets access to their 15 spring practices.
Saban didn't do that.
No, he didn't.
That's for sure. Yep.
I mean, that's a major change. that is major. I mean, so does that mean you might see other schools do differently?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like that Sam's made some of his assistant coaches available in spring practice. He does in fall camp too, just not during the season. It's just a little bit here or there.
So in August, it's you get there's one media session for each of the assistant coaches, all of them, right down to the strength coach. Now I don't know if this means
that's 10 of them in 3 weeks. That's right.
And I don't know if that's what Alabama's doing here for spring practice, or because it's not like you're doing a media scrum. Nobody does that anymore. No, it's never like what you see with Dave Van Horn at some of the road games, or like we saw in Texas where it was a media scrum in front of the dugout. That used to be how all of the post-game things were done with the baseball team. Now you get the press conference settings, and the assistant coaches usually aren't available to media there. I just wonder if that it's not like everybody's going to stand out there with their old-fashioned mini tape recorder, getting the sound bites that everybody else is getting at the same time. You're going to get those same sound bites, but it's going to be in a press conference setting because everything's formalized.
Yep, and they're playing it on their website immediately, and you can't have it live. So they've sold that, to their to some major sponsors who have got their logos on the plastic screen behind them. So there's method to the madness. It hasn't been that long ago, and Matt Jones can tell you, that the media would walk in the locker room and walk right up to you, Matt. I mean, just while you're sitting there changing clothes, we talk to you.
I always felt it just looked like it's just an uncomfortable setting to, everybody's got their hand in your face, and it's at a locker. There's guys getting dressed around you and everything. I know that's the way it was done, but I don't know. It just feels like it
still that way in the NFL.
Would have been awkward.
Yeah.
Well, and to Clay's point, I think back then, and maybe it's changed, is even like you go out, you get into the locker room and some media comes in, but I think what Clay's speaking to is like 45 minutes later, Clay would be, somebody would be coming in there chatting with you. It wasn't just like the media allotted time.
Yeah, it was. I mean, you were out of the shower. I mean, I think generally when we got in, weren't you, man?
Yeah, like things have settled down. Everybody's kind of going their own way.
We've already talked to the head coach.
Yeah, everything. Yeah. Half the kids are dressed. It's not. That's the thing that is. Man, you need 15 minutes to cool down after a game. You need 20 minutes. You need to be able to relate to whatever you got to do. You don't want to, as soon as you go in there, then there's just a microphone right in your face. You got to cool out just a little bit.
I remember going into NFL locker rooms and guys had a cigarette.
And they were waiting on that cigarette. They were looking up at the clock. Is this game over yet? I need my hit.
There's a famous picture of Lynn Dawson sitting in his uniform with a cigarette. When guys are talking to him.
But he was on the sideline. I saw one of him.
Oh yeah, that was
on the
playing.
Sideline.
Yeah,
Jake the Snake.
Yeah, of course.
Or Kenny Stabler.
Who was your old coach with the Pittsburgh Pirates, Jim Leland?
Oh gosh,
he had a heater in the dugout.
Well, so Leland, he would smoke that heater all the way down to the filter. I mean, he practically smoked the filter, and he held it with the pointer finger and the thumb. So he was at the very end of that thing. Plus, it's the freaking Pirates, so why wouldn't you want to smoke it all the way down? The other one, and it's also a Pirate one, and this is one of my favorite photos in sports history. It's a black and white from it must have been like 78 or 79 in the Pirates dugout. You see Grant Jackson, who was a pitcher. And he's about to get up and I guess go into the field. And there's Dave Parker, who was the MVP of the National League in 1978. And he's got the same pose as Leland. Leland wasn't his manager then because this was like 8 years before. And he's holding it with the pointer finger and the thumb. And he is smoking that cigarette right down to the butt. The best player in the National League that year was smoking.
Yeah. Well, back to your, the Alabama. Things are changing there. I mean, Eli Gold's gone. I mean, it's not your daddy's Alabama anymore. No Saban, no Eli Gold.
It's massive changes. You're right.
Yeah,
it really is. I mean, think about Gold was there longer than Saban.
Yeah, he was
by like 15 or 16 years.
Yeah, I got tickled. My insurance agent over here in Fayetteville, Scott Tabor, who's, he's got as many Arkansas pitching records as Ryan Mallett has, passing records.
Well, he's got records that won't ever be broken, like
complete games. Then nobody even throws one, and I mean he pitched every game was a complete game, and he played minor league baseball, and Eli Gold was their play-by-play guy and rode the buses with them. In Birmingham.
Yeah, I knew that was Birmingham. Eli had an interesting.
The Barons
still has an interesting career because I saw he's going to be broadcasting arena football in Nashville. That's his next thing. He said, "I'm not retiring. They didn't want me to come back."
Yeah, he was different. He was different last year, and I listen to satellite radio. Listen to SEC games. You can get all the games, and Phil, he didn't give down in distance. He didn't give the time. I mean, it's like, your color analyst shouldn't have to give down in distance. That's the nuts and bolts of the broadcast. And when you listen to the good ones, man, they can get it in there and you don't even know they said it, but you got it every play, down in distance, yard line. It's got to be done. He wasn't doing it last year.
They had a split broadcast team because Chris Stewart was doing the road games. Chris does their basketball, and he used to do baseball there, and he's really good.
Oh, he's talented.
Right, and so you have that example of, well, this is what it sounds like on the road, and it's more accurate, a little more energetic.
Paints the picture, descriptive.
Yes, and I agree. Like, I listened to the Iron Bowl, a good chunk of the Iron Bowl, and I mean, that was an incredibly exciting game, and I think Eli had trouble keeping the energy up. I really do. But he's going to keep working. He is going to keep working.
I mean, he's got the voice and he's got the reputation. I mean, it's like, but it was just not there. So this is behind the scenes a little bit. My brother Butch was executive director of Crimson Tide Sports Marketing.
Yeah,
he's the guy that took Eli off the basketball games years ago.
Now, I mean, that's going to be received a little differently probably than taking him off football.
No question. That's different.
By the way, I'm also looking back here at the baseball record book for pitching. Scott Tabor, 34 wins. That's a school record. I don't know if I see that changing.
Yeah, because he pitched 4 years.
Right, and 28 complete games over a 4-year stretch. 28 complete. You're not going to have 28 complete games pitched by the entire
Nobody gets
program
one or two
for the
in a
remainder of the history of Earth.
Yeah.
There won't be 28 complete games pitched in college baseball over the next 10 years. I mean, by every pitcher. Yeah, they talk about times changing. 34 wins, 2. Man, his arm must have been hanging at some point. It must have been. How he's able to sign an autograph, I don't know.
He gave me lessons before I threw out the first pitch, a couple of springs ago. And we went out. He had a baseball in his back of his truck, and we went out. We went out in the field next to on the golf course, and we played pitch without gloves.
Ooh.
With Scott Tabor.
That's I don't like to catch a baseball without a glove.
Well, his arm's gone. It was okay. He can't throw either. I can't throw.
But at
We're
least
old.
At least he can still feed himself with that hand and right.
He
with
can hit
that
a golf
hand,
ball.
Do all the things you need to with that hand. Speaking of other changes, it looks like the NFL may want to be bringing back kickoff returns. Read this morning. The competition committee is presenting a plan to ownership to try to get kickoff returns back. 22% of kickoffs were returned last year. That's it.
If you start the kick and cover team on like the 30-yard line and you're kicking it and then they go once he catches it, there's ways around it instead of getting this running start. If you start them a little bit down there and they can't go into it, you can't jump the gun. That's one way to have it because it is a good play.
The model you're referring to, I think, is the one that they may be coalescing around.
You're taking away the concussion issue. You're getting everybody already kind of lined up there, and you're creating space. It's such an exciting play to have that it's a shame that it's not been around.
I think that's called the XFL model, right? Where the kicking team lines up at the 35, the return team at the 30, and the only two who can move before the ball is caught is the kicker and the return man.
There you go. Something like that. Yeah.
Matt, when your early days in the NFL, did you play on some special teams?
I did, and I realized very quickly, like when I was guarding Tayshaun Prince, that it was going to be an uphill battle. There are some talented dudes. Clay, you're almost so specialized. I don't know what you compare it to, but man, the special teams guys they're different breeds.
Oh, you're talking about there's 5 or 6 Tony Buas out there.
Oh my goodness, and they're just trained assassins. I mean, yeah.
Got a text. Pinto says the difference between Norm DeBrine and Dave Van Horn are complete games. No, that's not the difference between the two of them. The difference is the way the game is coached and the understanding of arm health and the fact that pitchers throw harder than they did then. I don't know what Scott Tabor threw as far as his velocity was concerned, but it probably wasn't.
It's like
90,
80s, 90. Yeah.
Yeah, not 96,
He wasn't a fireballer.
No, look,
he had a knuckle curve that was unhittable.
Hey, I mean, Dave had pitchers that he was just fine throwing out there, like a Charlie Boyce, like a Jay Sawatsky. I mean, it's just there's a different understanding about.
Hey, there's different equipment back then too. The bats were different.
Mm-hmm. I don't see that as the difference between the two of them. We'll wrap up halftime in just a moment. First, want to remind you about Crabtree RV Center. Paying your sales tax in full on all remaining new 2023 models that are in stock. But you got to get over there today because the selection is limited. Making your family's dreams come true for over 70 years, one road trip at a time. Crabtree RV in Alma beside the Cracker Barrel or CrabtreeRV.com. Get your sales tax paid in full and stay with us. We'll wrap things up in a moment.
Before you buy that next car or truck, stop by Broadway Motors in Van Buren. The best of the best for 2 straight years. Michael and his team offer the best prices on the best quality pre-owned vehicles in the River Valley. They invite you to stop by and check it out for yourself. Or if you prefer to check out their inventory online or even do your financing online. Michael has built his reputation as a husband, father, and owner-operator since 2006. Broadway Motors, 806 Broadway in Van Buren, or online at BroadwayMotorsAR.com.
And we're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't mean try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
Hey, I'm Hagen Smith.
As an Arkansas pitcher, I know the importance of precision, skill, and keeping cool under pressure. That's why for your home, choosing the right team for heating and air is just as important. You want professionals who bring their best game. When it comes to staying comfortable, I rely on Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. They'll send pros to take care of your home, too. So sign up now for Pascal's Plan Protection membership before the summer heat for only $8.99 a month. Never pay for a tune-up again when they're included in your membership. Professional people, professional service. Pascal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
Do you need an oil change but don't have time to drop off your car? S&J Express Lube will let you sit in your car while they do the work, and it only takes about 15 minutes with no appointment needed. Prices start at $35.99 for a 20-point inspection service. S&J Express Lube is open Monday through Friday 9 till 6 and Saturdays 8 till noon. You'll find them at 14818 Highway 71 South in Jenny Lind. Check them out on Facebook too. S&J Express Lube, your authorized Castrol dealer in Sebastian County. They are waiting on you now.
Precision Overhead Door features the finest quality materials, installation, and service for all of your overhead door needs. Fully licensed and insured, with locations in Rogers and Fort Smith, serving all of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley. Give them a call today at 844-PBS-STORE or online at PrecisionDoorNWA.com. Back-to-back winners of the Best of Award, Gold Best Garage Company in Northwest Arkansas, and also winners of the River Valley Precision Overhead Door.
Colorworks Paint and Body in Barling offers professional automotive painting, bodywork, and fabrication that is unsurpassed in talent and dedication. Owner Andy Harrod uses the latest in collision repair technology to ensure all damage is addressed, whether it's visible or hidden, and works with all insurance companies. Andy and his crew have the experience and commitment to give you complete trust in the repair of your vehicle, no matter the size of the job. Colorworks is located at 1206 4th Street in Barling, across from Dollar General, and is on Facebook, where you can check out their work.
What's on your to-do list today? Does it include looking for a new piece of heavy equipment? If so, come by and see us at Sharp Equipment today and explore our latest offers and deals as a Wacker Newson dealer. Whatever your day brings, whatever job it is you need to complete, Wacker Newson Equipment is up to the task, and Sharp Equipment is here to help. Stop in Central Hydraulics and see us at Sharp Equipment, located at 6104 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith, or give us a call at 479-242-1406.
Walk-Ons is always a win. Whether it's a post-game celebration, drinks with the crew, or an easy weeknight dinner, Walk-Ons has you covered. Scratch-made dishes, wall-to-wall TVs, craft beers and cocktails. Dig into mouth-watering menu items like po' boys, gumbo, and voodoo shrimp, plus fan favorites like juicy burgers and fresh salads. Find your nearest location in Rogers, Fayetteville, Fort Smith, Conway, and coming soon to Little Rock, or order online or in the app. Walk-On Sports Bistro for the win.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Dreams never affect me. I'm not very complete. Dreams never affect me. I'm not afraid of the concrete.
Welcome back into Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Studios. Crabtree RV Center in Alma, where we make your dreams come true.
Plenty of NBA basketball tonight, NHL hockey, got a lot of college basketball as well that you can put some money on your Bet Saracen app if you choose to. It's Arkansas's favorite sports betting app. Have it on your Apple iPhone, Google Android, all the web browsers, betsaracen.com. But remember, got to be inside the state of Arkansas in order to use Bet Saracen. Soccer today, Matt? Is today a footy day?
I think they got soccer every day.
But no games necessarily are worth tuning into, or is it just about any of them?
It's a pastime going around. Napoli had your 6 goals against Sassuolo. My sister has it's Empoli. She has a foreign exchange student, and they're his home squad is Empoli in Serie A.
Empoli, where is Empoli?
in Italy.
Italy.
This is a team that we're
Ligue,
rooting for,
right?
then.
Ligue A.
Yeah, Series A.
Yeah.
Serie A.
Yep. And we had a Premier League player score 5 yesterday. 5. Holland.
What's 5? That was a glut, right?
It's a lot of goals. It's a glut.
It's not even. You can't even do a double hat trick, can you?
Yeah.
Too bad. All right. I mean, I feel like, Matt, we've done a good job here making it through a 3-hour show, and we've talked about Arkansas basketball for like 2.5 segments. Because, I mean, what do you want to beat it into the ground for? Too much. You got to talk about it in the first segment. You got to talk about it with the guests. You know, when Clay comes on, we got to kick that around.
I did.
It's just, it's not a lot of fun to kick around right now.
Yeah. So can I fess up? I mean, can I just offer a confession?
Yeah, sure.
I went
This
to
is a great
sleep in the
place to let
first
your
half.
soul be known. You fell asleep in the first half?
Yeah, they were ahead, and I woke up at halftime, and I looked, when they came out of came back from the studio, and I looked at the score, I was like, what happened? I mean, I thought they'd be up 10 or 12 by then instead of 6 or 7, and it never got better. I mean, it's just it's bizarre to watch. And I mean, and John Sunvold, bless his heart, he stepped up and is like, this is the quietest this place has ever been.
Yeah, I remember when he said that.
Yeah, I thought, I'm not there, but I mean, I could see a lot of empties. It's it wasn't an attractive game, and they didn't play. It's Vanderbilt, and they didn't play very attractive. And it's so frustrating because I mean, the guy can flat out coach. We know he can coach, and it's killing his soul to what these guys are.
Yeah, not a lot of fun. Not a lot of fun. So, unless things change, you find a way to pull off an upset on the road. One of these next 2 road games, you're looking at playing on a Wednesday
Phil,
in Nashville.
So this to me, I compare this to what was it, 6-7 years ago when they had when Dave had the one team, and
2016.
And I mean he and Dave Jorn, to me, and it was pitching. They could not throw strikes, and they coached those guys
too.
Huh?
It was such a young team too.
It was, yeah. Well, they end up, I think they played, like Blaine Knight and Isaiah Campbell. They were true freshmen. They pitched them, and they just kept coaching them. And I think Eric Mosman's doing the same thing, but it's just tough.
Well, there was a major change on the staff at the end of that season. That's when Jordan retired.
Yeah, he told me, he said, I just knew it was time.
Oh, we'll see if there are major staff changes when this basketball season's over. That's your halftime for a Wednesday afternoon here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. We'll have the Eastside Liquor halftime podcast coming out shortly. Ruskin and Zach are steady at the mic, ready to entertain you for the next few hours, and we're back with you tomorrow. So for Clay, for the C Unit, for Matt, I'm Phil. Thanks for listening. Get up, get out, get better.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family.